Liked by the sound of violence.
Can't pick Jessica I fights. Don't make me.
Right.
I mean, it's not just that she's very boring, but it's that I can't pick them.
Yeah, I don't understand
Whatever I pick,
her.
it will be wrong.
She's
Whenever I think she's better than I think, she tricks me. And whenever I think she's worse, she tricks me again. I don't know what to do.
And never in a way that's satisfying. You know how in a movie, like, you want you want the big twist to be a thing where you never see it coming, but after the fact, you're like, oh, that's the only way it could have ended. Jessica you're always, it's just like the movie just starts being a different movie for the last 10 minutes. You're like, what the fuck happened? That sucked. But you didn't see it coming, and that's what matters.
What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast to let you know the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss each week, as well as we try and check out a new show. I am Pulver, and I'm back yet again with your co-host, or my co-host, everybody's co-host, Chris Madaffer. How's it going, man?
Doing well, man. Really excited to try this beer I got. I'm actually going to pour it into a glass. I don't have a goblet for it, which is the real glass I should be pouring it into, but I have...
A goblet? Gotta be, what, Belgian, then?
It just says, it says preferred goblet. It's a stout.
Okay. I guess goblet has a...
I just have like one of these, so just imagine a goblet without the
To be fair,
stout.
that is a very classic stout serving glass, especially for a stronger stout.
Let's not break the fucking glass here. So we got, without spilling this everywhere like a piece of shit, we got the new Speedway Stout special release.
Oh, shit.
I'll explain it. Yeah, I'm like really, I don't want to drop this shit. Hold on. That'd be problematic.
Yeah,
it's a special edition. It's espresso and Madagascar vanilla. Notes of coffee, vanilla, and dark fruit. It says it pairs with blue cheese. Interesting. Don't think I'd want to have blue cheese with a coffee stout.
To be fair, though,
and I like blue cheese too.
Blue cheese is actually a pretty common pairing for stouts, because especially bigger stouts, because bigger stouts a lot of times have so much flavor to them that you need something equally strong to kind of stand up to them, you know? That's why a lot of times with milder cheeses, they'll recommend like nothing anywhere near IPA. It'll be a lot of like wits or lighter.
Oh, there you go.
Stuff. That looks good. So, initial thoughts?
I mean, really good.
Just like classic coffee stout shit?
Yeah, it's actually really fucking good. It almost has like this...
I was going to say, because your brewery is known for their coffee stout.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I try not to compare everything to Zoom Bar, but Speedway...
Zoom Bar is my favorite coffee stout.
Yeah,
so.
Speedway from AleSmith has always been one of my favorites, and this one's probably one of their better ones they've done. I really like... there's like there's the vanilla at the very end of like your palate, like the roof, the back part of your mouth. It almost is kind of like... almost feel like it's marshmallowy or some sort of cream kind of interesting, but it's good.
Hey, Matt Goya, dropping in chat. Hopefully I'm not butchering your name, because I'm going to fucking have a problem with that every single time. Asking if we've ever had peanut butter porters. I've had a lot of peanut butter stouts. I don't think I've ever had a porter.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a peanut butter porter. I almost bought this one beer at the liquor store because I went to Jimbo's because I didn't want to. I mean, this beer is really good, but I really don't want
Matt
to pay.
Joya, god damn it! I get it right the first time, so I'm forever gonna get it wrong after that. But anyway, keep going.
I didn't want to pay $20 and then tax after that, just for 4 of these. Which I mean, they're good and it's worth it, but it was like $5 just for the one can.
Yeah, they're big beers.
But
yeah.
I saw some other brewery called Lead Dog Brewing, and they had a salted caramel porter.
That sounds super good, but also way too sweet.
The ABV was 12. And I'm like, okay, I'll get one that's way less than that, but I'm fucking dumb. It's like, well, I just want to try this beer really badly. I think this one's also 12. Yeah, it is. So.
Hell yeah, man. Also, Matt in chat, Matt Joya in chat, said he went to Asheville for a week and is like the best. I've heard Asheville is incredible. I don't think I've been to Asheville since I was a little kid.
Asheville is in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, Asheville, North Carolina. Yeah. So I visited there as a little kid a long time ago. That was way before their beer scene blew the fuck up. But yeah, I've heard Asheville is huge out there. Asheville, Richmond, Virginia is another big spot with a bunch of craft breweries. Of course, like up like New York and all the all that kind of like New English area has been blowing up with a ton of people.
Queens specifically, and as far as New York City goes, has I think quite the blow up in the craft beer scene.
I don't doubt it. I mean, you figure with Brooklyn being Brooklyn Brewery, you figure every other brewery in New York after that had to like come hard as fuck, especially with, I mean, if you're that close to all the guys like Treehouse and everything, like, oh really? I didn't know Matt's in New York. So then Matt probably knows my favorite goddamn bottle shop delivery service, which is what is it? Astoria Wines? Is that it? I think it's Astoria. That sounds wrong, but I know Astoria is. Yeah, it is Astoria Wines. I think. Yeah, Astor Wines. That's what it is. Astor Wines is the best bottled service delivery, or the best bottle delivery service around by far, as I'm concerned. So where you can get some really, really good rums from there, as well as they have Heaven Hill, like the basic ass Heaven Hill, which is impossible to find on the West Coast. But they have it for like $15 a bottle. Or 11, 12 bucks a bottle. It's delicious.
Now that you mentioned it, I can't remember the last time I've even seen Heaven's Hill.
Yeah, Heaven Hill, just the basic Heaven Hill bourbon is one of my fucking favorites, man. It's like,
and then what are you drinking again, by the way?
I am drinking the Tiki IPA from AleSmith.
That's right.
I was gonna say this is our Papa Vodka presents, Doug Stanhope presents our sponsors. But we are way past that point. I guess if we're just throwing out sponsorships here, you know what? I will say Poirier's hot sauce is real good.
Oh, cool. Did you buy that online, like on his website?
Yeah. No. I got it on Heatonist. So Heatonist is, of course, the hot sauce people who do stuff with Sean Evans. It's a very... I don't want to missell people on this. It's a very straightforward, like, Louisiana-style hot sauce. It's basically crystals. It's just, like, craft crystals. It's just a higher-end, fresher tasting version of crystals, essentially, that's a little bit more garlicky and a little bit less salty. I really, really enjoy it.
That reminds me, I want to order it. I know it's probably going to cost a pretty penny because of shipping, but I do remember that Darren Till does have his raw dog beer. And
does he have a raw dog beer? Wait, he has a raw dog beer. I thought you said brew dog for a second, which would have been
no. So I'll send you the video of him.
It's gotta be bad.
When he's kind of
didn't he say it was bad? Didn't he try it and say it was bad? I think I've seen that video.
I think you did. They're like, what do you think, Darren? And he's like, it's fucking shite.
You did send me that.
And then I remember I read some comments like, this beer is shite.
That's hilarious.
I still want to try it though. At least I just want a cutout of like the logo or some shit.
100%.
Yeah.
Real good.
Because the logo's fucking creative. But,
before we get to this shit, we should just get into format because we have plenty of stuff to talk about, and Oh God, I'm gonna butcher your name in chat. Zazakita, I think. Kita, Kits. I don't know. I can't read, and I'm blind as shit. We are going to talk about the fights. However, we're going to talk a fuckload about MMA podcasts first, so brace yourself, bruh. But before we get to that, you know what, Chris, why don't you start off the MMA podcast you recommend people catch this week? Well, I just Luke Thomas some of this hot sauce like a goddamn professional, because it ain't that hot.
So, I had multiple catches.
It's really garlicky, though.
Some of these catches were from, I guess they're like on our. I don't know if I should mention some of them because they're older. I don't know how I'm supposed to.
Yeah, you can talk about what you listen to. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, fuck it.
The ones that you liked.
So this one for sure was from Co-Main Event Power. Oh no, I'll do that one later. Okay. Okay, so the Body Lock, they did one.
Before you get to that.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off because Matt asked a question that I do want to address. Since I'm pimping hot sauces, Ben Cohn from the Fight Site also has a hot sauce that I am still planning to get, as well as his beef jerky. I know he's toned down some of that because pandemic stuff. But yeah, I've heard nothing but amazing things, and I will blindly plug Ben Cohn's hot sauce and beef jerky because I want to try it. So I'm sure other people do as well. I've heard it's stupid good. Also, pro tip from Matt G: get the onion and the applewood ones because they're fire, evidently. So, Chris, so you were going to segue right into the Body Lock, right?
Yeah, this one addressed Colby Covington. I can't remember when they recorded this.
Oh, this is actually one of the ones that this was from last year.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones that we actually, spoiler alert, you guys will hear in a bit. I think probably this next coming week or so, this made one of our episode of the year list, and this is one of the ones I sent you. And you hadn't heard it previously, right?
I had heard it previously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to revisit it.
Yeah, it's really fucking good, dude. It really holds up.
To pull up the notes that I had on it beforehand. I am looking at my notes. I do remember this. We briefly talked about some of the stuff that's on here already just a couple days ago.
That's fine. Which you guys will see. I mean, Chris and I talked about. I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a spoiler. We recorded the first part, technically the first two parts of our end of the year show for our award show, and we're already like fucking 4 hours plus. So it's gonna be a big one. We're doing it giant bomb style, and I'm gonna have to chop it up into days. So that's why it's a little bit later than normal. But so yeah, this Body Lock discussion that Ant Walker and Matt Wells had was fucking incredible, right?
Yeah, it was really good. Really important as well. Discussion mostly on systemic racism against blacks, African Americans in the United States, and essentially just how the UFC's lack of, I guess, reprimanding of Colby's racist antics and the lack of just accountability there continues to allow us a passive attitude just towards racism in general, generally speaking.
Yeah, and like free speech does not equal hate speech, which I think is something that the U.S. is having to relearn, which we learned a long time ago during World War II, if you go back and do any kind of history studies. But we're having to relearn that in the year 2020, and it's important to keep saying that, I think, is that like there is a difference between free speech and just hate speech, and Colby will sometimes veer on the okay side of that, but you can't be talking about a lot of the shit he directly said and not say like, yo, that's just fucking racist.
Yeah, he called activists for Black Lives Matter terrorists, which that's just very extremely untrue and just blatantly racist.
Yep.
So that's irresponsible.
All the tribe shit about
something
Africa.
About, I think he said, like, living in their huts. I don't know what the fuck
it was living in their huts in Africa.
Or, like, smoke signals. I don't know what
the fuck I think it was something along the lines of go back to your tribe. Like, all just that, like, horribly, horribly racist shit. Where, like, and I will be the first to say, sometimes Colby has a little bit of clever writing. Like, Marty Fake Newsman is just clever writing. It's dumb and shitty, but it is clever writing. But, like, yo, there is that line, and while I am normally one of those people who says, like, yo, you can say whatever if you make it funny, it's not nothing about what Colby's doing is funny.
Yeah,
And arguably, that is a shitty argument that I have had to rethink a lot this year, to be fair. And I still don't really know how I come down on it. But it's a thing, so...
Yeah, and their big point, too, is where the hell is the UFC Code of Conduct that's supposed to be condemning racist shit?
Well, and the same one that, like, cut Leslie Smith for speaking out, or that cut Miguel Torres for a rape van joke back in the day, or that said to multiple fighters, including Donald Cerrone and Andrei Arlovski in fucking 2019 said a gay slur and had to apologize for it. So, like, it's not that you're just allowed to say whatever you want, like they argue. It's just pure bullshit. Dana's allowed to say whatever he wants. That's the only person.
Yeah, and he never wears
the bald one. Sorry, the bald one, because I refuse to say his fucking name because that's all he wants. I'm going full UJS Robinson in 2021. I'm just referring to him as the bald one going forward.
So, in all, I appreciated revisiting that episode that Ant Walker and Matt Wells, that discussion that they had. It's really important.
Yeah,
it's just,
absolutely.
It's just a must listen.
Yeah, and it's worth going back to because it holds up even, honestly, maybe better than it did even at the time. It's maybe even more relevant today than it was when they recorded it back in, I want to say June or August or whenever it was. July, maybe? I believe it was just after the Colby Tyron fight, if I remember right. So, yeah. Yep. Absolutely worth going back and listening to. I can't agree more, and you guys will hear us talk about it a lot more here in the near future. I am going to go ahead and take a complete 180 swing on this, and I'm going to bring up something that actually I snuck into our show notes for last week, and we actually didn't even talk about it. This was something I listened to last Saturday, just after we recorded on Friday. I basically woke up and put this on, and it is one of the best motherfucking things I came across. The Holloway Poirier preview. Here, let me get the name right. The Fight Site Staff Predictions, UFC Fight Night Holloway versus Cater. It's just so goddamn fun, and it's so goddamn informative, and it's such a good guest list. I actually talked to Kyle from the Fight Site about it, because he DM'd me being like, bro, I saw you put this on the list. You guys didn't talk about it. And he's right. It's because I listened to it afterwards. But it was so good I had to put it on there. Iggy from the Fight Site, of course, hosted Tengerdome. Saram, Dan Tom, and Paul from Southpaw podcast all joined. And they basically go around doing the classic recent Fight Site format of the prediction show where they'll go around and discuss the matchup. They'll basically say all the ways one guy can win, all the ways the other guy can win, and kind of how they see it going. And yeah, man, it's just so much fun. Also, shouts to Drake Riggs in chat. That show from yesterday will definitely come up in a bit because I had a blast. I know Chris dropped in for a bit too, so that will definitely come up. Also, Matt G in chat making fucking jokes. I swear to God, though, I will not accept money from the Fight Site. I will accept hot sauce from the Fight Site, but I have a feeling Ben is, I want to pay Ben for hot sauce. I'm mostly fucking around. So, and also, we don't accept bribes. I think we've made that very clear. Or else, we would have a ball shaver probably right now that we were talking about at some point during this episode. All right, where was I? There was actually a lot of things that came up during the episode though that did play out. They talk a lot about Max's use of basically volume as defense and how that's kind of grown throughout his career. And let's see, he goes around discussing they go around discussing the matchup. That's right. The other thing was Max adapting to all of the kicks in the Volkov fight by kind of having what Ryan Wagner would definitely love for me to refer to as a Thai march, where he was checking kicks off of that. Ryan Wagner definitely specifically would like me to say that, I'm pretty sure. He also wants me to just throw the word Thai plum out there. I'm just doing fucking bits now. But yeah, overall it's just a lot of fun. They talk about how Cater is looking to draw out opportunities to land the right hand, and that really, a lot of the things they talked about directly played out in that fight. You could see Cater's entire game plan was trying to draw out that right hand. And the combination of the kicks and the stance switching and the volume from Max was absolute nightmare for him, and it just got worse and worse. And we will, yeah, man, the amount of damage he took in that fucking fight is terrifying. I didn't feel as good as I felt after that fight. I didn't feel great after that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's only so many reasons you can consider it an achievement of being that durable, but at the same time, you're
wildly durable. But at the same time, yeah, you can't do.
I don't mean to blast them, but just kind of look at the Diaz brothers. I mean, they've kind of taken so much damage.
Well, and one could argue
not necessarily
Dan Hooker is also possibly part of that. Although, again, like a lot of things that led to Dan Hooker getting caught wasn't necessarily because of the amount of damage he's taken as much as the style matchup and kind of how that all went. Yeah, overall though, really, really good episode, and I recommend people even go back and listen to it because you'll learn some things about both guys' game plans that, while parts of it may have been obvious during that, it's just a fun discussion, and you'll pick up things that you're like, huh, you know what, I never noticed that about Max, that kind of stuff, so definitely recommend it. Let's see, Chris, you have another catch for this week?
Yeah, so this is from a week ago. This is co-main event 436. They kind of did a quick recap of Cater and Holloway.
Yeah, this was really good.
They also discussed the importance of that Spencer Fisher article that we briefly talked about last week as well, man, from Steven Morocco of MMA Fighting. They said, is Dana, should he be afraid of a pending lawsuit, this and that? They said, how tone deaf was it of Dana to say he's experienced some head trauma when he's never fought in a cage for money?
I mean, that's just classic Dana White. I need attention shit. Which is why, by the way, we're referring to him as the bald one. Or I am, anyway. You can do how you want. I'm not using that motherfucker's name out loud anymore. Can't do it. He wants it too much, and I'm denying him that right.
I just refer to him as the tomato, so that works.
That people will definitely know who you're talking about, regardless. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they didn't really preview yesterday's pay-per-view. They just kind of were talking about the whole thing of Dana trying to hype up Khabib returning, yada yada yada. They said he's just convincing himself, obviously, and well, considering what happened last night, I mean, there's no more. He can't really convince himself of anything else at this point, except for a potential new golden boy that it may have arisen from yesterday. We'll see. Yeah, and they after that they talked about a good point they made is how quickly did it take for Dana to strip Henry Cejudo once he retired? Why is Khabib still allowed to hang on to the belt? That kind of thing.
I mean, we all know why. It's because Dana's a giant cuck for money.
Yeah.
So. As seen in the video where he sucked his own dick on camera, which again we might talk about in the recent. Some of those awards are pretty fun, man. I'm not looking back on them, but yeah, it was a really good co-main event episode. That whole Khabib non-announcement shit is so annoying.
It's funny too. I see.
So lazy, like. Ugh.
Yeah, and Habib just said yesterday, like, even after the fights, he's like, Dana, like, when it comes down to I'm just so much better than everyone else, and Dana's basically like, all right.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong.
No.
He's way better than everybody else in that division at what he does. If they had to box, it would go way different, but they don't have to, and he doesn't have to, so.
And ironically, he did knock Conor down with like a faint overhand. So.
But that's also because he could wrestle.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. So yeah, co-main event episode 436, super super solid. Also, I really enjoyed the phrase "tune into ABC to see what man's tune into ABC to see man's inhumanity to fellow men." Which, yeah, that was one of the most brutal beatings. I believe Jack Slack this week called it the worst beating we've ever seen in the UFC. Which,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's like him, Greg Hardy on bottom, and Fred Edish is like probably the top
Barboza
three.
Against Hooker is up there too.
Oh yeah, I mean, if right. Yeah, no, 100%. It was absolutely savage. So. All right. Let's see. So the other catch that I had this week, I mean, I'm just gonna stay on the same. I'm gonna stay on the same exact kind of bent, which just keep it going. The fight side staff predictions for UFC 257 with I believe Dan Tom coined it. Conor wants to come. Which I goddamn love Dan Tom. He's the fucking best. This was Ed Gallo, Ben Cohn, Saram, and Dan Tom all hanging out talking about UFC 257. First off, Ed Gallo admits he likes pineapple pizza right out the gate, like some kind of fucking savage.
That's bold.
Although I will say Dan Tom does try and save him by saying pineapple pizza is not that bad if you use pepperoni instead of ham.
Ham?
Yeah, because it's spicy then, and so then you get like that savory, spicy thing a little bit harder. Which I feel like that's, if you want to make respectable arguments for pineapple on pizza, I feel like Dan Tom has gotten as close as you can get, but also,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I'm one of those fucking idiots who has like 3 pizzas I will accept, and one of them is cheese. So I am no fucking. I don't know. I'm no one to go to on pizza picks. Spots, yes. Picks, no. So let's see. So on this, the things that stood out, they previewed Conor versus Dustin and Hooker versus Chandler pretty significantly. Again, they go through their thing. They'll go around and talk about the one guy, and they'll go around and talk about the other guy, and they'll talk about who they think's going to win, except for Ben, who consistently barely makes that happen. Ben will always try and start doing the next segment on his own and going rogue, and it makes me laugh every goddamn time. Dan Tom brought up a lot of the stuff that I was interested to hear about. Actually, a couple people brought up this item this week, which is the Southpaw versus Southpaw matchup for Conor versus Dustin. Which, I mean, after seeing that fight, I think it's undeniable that was a huge thing going into that fight, as well as the lead hand in general. I feel like that was all I was talking about going into the fight in most of the chats and discussions I was hanging out in, is asking like, yo, does Dustin's lead hand work at all play a factor, since Conor is notoriously like rear hand heavy and he doesn't really use a lot of lead hand work, especially in a Southpaw versus Southpaw matchup. I didn't expect Conor's team to just not think about calf kicks ever.
Yep.
That's a crazy thing for a team who says win or learn, but gets calf kicked and leg kicked every single goddamn fight.
Shout out also to Dan Hardy. He had a video.
Yeah, a lot of people saw that one.
Yeah.
That was something actually that came up. I think it was Ben actually that pointed out that Conor ate a fuckload of leg kicks in the Dustin fight the first time.
I also annoyed a couple folks that were watching the fight with me yesterday. They're like coworker of my brother's, but they're casuals for the most part. But I remember during the fight, I got a little too excited. I'm like, oh, Conor's stance is wide here, his legs exposed, and since this and that, I'm like, Dustin's gonna want to start chopping at that leg. And then after that, it starts happening, and then like I say one more thing, and then DC said the same thing, and this one dude's like, oh, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. I'm like, sorry, I'll shut the fuck.
Well, also, if DC starts quoting you, you also might not know what you're talking about, depending on what the actual conversation
I'll take the latter
is.
on that one.
Yeah. DC quoting you it can be a good thing or a super bad thing. Like if it's about judging, you're fucked. Although he's getting better. I will say. Because I think Ariel Helwani had a talking with him after Sean Sheehan kept yelling about it, if I remember right. Yeah, and then the other fight they brought up was Chandler, or the one they talked in depth on is Chandler versus Hooker, and whether Chandler's like super solid pressure game, especially just cage control and his ability to cut the cage since he came out of Bellator with the circular cage. I believe it was Ed that pointed out that he's really good at cutting that off and really exposing people. And then that combined with Dan Tom bringing up his explosiveness and everything kind of really played into how that fight went. To be honest, a lot of the takes in this fight that they had on this were super accurate. All the Southpaw versus Southpaw lead hand stuff, the kicks they brought up, Chandler, they were definitely a little bit more skeptical on, which I mean I feel like everybody was, just because it's a question of like what does Michael Chandler look like under USADA, combined with a bunch of other things. So, yeah, man, it was just not only a super fun show, but a super educational show. Also, Chandler is not 5'8", as we learned. He is about 5'6", maybe 5'7". And so don't believe the lies on the tail of the tape.
Yeah, he looks like about 5'7". Speaking of Chandler, my good friend Kevin, who never watches Bellator ever, he asked me, he's like, "Hey, who would you compare Chandler to?" And I'm like, "Well, he's explosive, hits really hard, and he's a good wrestler." I'm like, "He's a smaller Tyron Woodley," and basically kind of how he looked yesterday. A little bit. Yeah.
I mean, like old Tyron. Wow.
Well, yes.
A Tyron Woodley that wrestled. Which is like, I mean, I don't know. That was like 2 fights in Strikeforce where he used to wrestle. I feel like he stopped wrestling like halfway into, like not even halfway into his Strikeforce run. But yeah, Chandler's an interesting guy, man. Also, I would recommend going and checking out Pitbull's Twitter if you have not in the last 24 hours. That dude is on fire, and for every reason that he should be. The good Pitbull, I will say. I don't know what the fuck Patricky's saying. Probably not a lot other than juice jokes. Yeah, man, I think those are the two that I had that really stood out as catches. Let me see if I had another one. I mean, I have a bunch that are like right on the edge, but I think those kind of stand out above most others. Do you have any other catches for this week?
Yeah, the only one I'll mention, because I have some decent notes on it, was Heavy Hands 352.
That was the other one that was right on the edge for me, so I'm glad you said it.
They started off the bat by saying who else is excited for the main event, that is Jessica Eye versus Joanne Calderwood. They discussed Poirier not being the same man who was knocked out in their first fight, because this is up a weight class, and look at what the kind of run he's been on as of late compared to Conor, who hasn't really fought. They were just saying it's going to come down to both fighters' chin. They were joined by Julian Lung from the Fight Site.
Yeah, which I think he was on the Heavy Hands around this time last year as well.
Yeah, he was just saying it comes down on Poirier changing his game plan completely from the first fight. Phil says, "I hate McGregor outside of the octagon and as a fighter."
Fair,
They had some good analysis on McGregor's efficiency during later rounds. If he can't finish a fight early on, it was mostly about cardio. And they kind of discussed, why is McGregor solely focused on highlighting how his camp was all on cardio, like in where he was in like Portugal or something like that. Let's see. You all right?
Yeah, no, I'm just showing the weed I'm about to smoke while you're talking.
Oh, okay. Because all I see is your hand.
Yeah, no, I literally was. Okay. Well, no, there was weed in front of it. I was trying not to distract you. It worked great.
Yeah.
Here, while we're talking about it, I'm smoking some Sherbinsky's Mochi Gelato, which is I believe it's the sun-grown version, which, not bad. 35 1/8, real funky, real gassy, outdoor kind of OG, diesel-y kind of feel to it. Anyway, keep going. I don't want to Sean O'Malley this shit.
Yeah, right. Take a rip.
Oh!
They talk about durability is what you need against McGregor. Look how Habib was able to sustain and tank power shots. I mean, not everyone's also has the chin of Habib, but as we did see in that fight yesterday, Poirier did tank some big fucking shots, which was impressive.
They both did.
Yeah, they both did. Julian brought the point of Dustin Poirier's guard being static, and he might not be able to find success if McGregor could sneak in the left hook through his shell. They said as Poirier gotten tougher as he's gone up in weight, Julian thinks Dustin's more comfortable taking punishment and anticipating strikes. Took a lot of punishment against Hooker. I mean, he took some punishment against Conor last night too. So, and then what I did is I did some tape study for the first time in a while. I watched the Max Holloway-Dustin Poirier fight because it's two boxers essentially just going a lot of volume.
And Max was in southpaw for a good amount of that because he was switching back and forth. They both were.
I essentially just kind of discussed. I was talking about the first round where Dustin had Max hurt a couple of different times because he's rolling with his left hook and just kind of holding out his lead hand. He kind of switched to orthodox and kind of lead out, like hold up with his left hand and then kind of feint and then go back to the right and like glide step or something like that while he was against the fence to cut off Max.
Yeah, a couple of those shifting entries where he'd land, off counter, 100%. And he actually did a bit of that early in this fight too, where he's just a lot of like shifting, but mostly shifting to bait out a shot that he could then counter with the lead hook or the check hook.
And there was a point where Holloway was hurt and Dustin rushes in immediately and just starts winging hooks to try to finish him. I basically said, McGregor has a great chin too. If you get McGregor against the fence and keep applying that pressure, it is possible to knock him out if McGregor doesn't have space. I mean, we also...
Yeah, and I think a lot of it came... we'll talk about it later, but yeah.
Yeah.
The clinch game, I think, cannot be slept on. That's a big factor in that.
So yeah, and then the three of them said it's going to be a war of attrition, similar to the fight against Diaz. Julian picked Poirier. He says because he's a better human. He says I think Conor's going to knock him out, but I have to pick the better person.
Yep, that's right. Shit, that's what I've been doing with Conor's career since I don't know, whenever he started raping allegedly.
So I'll leave that one at that. That was a solid episode. Good fight breakdown, and I'll do a quick honorable mention to the Jack Slack Fight Podcast episode 3.
Yeah.
Breakdowns as well.
For the Max Holloway Cater recap, or the because he named 2 podcasts episode 3 this week because he's not used to his new numbering schedule.
It was
the preview episode, the short preview, or the recap?
No, it was the recap of Max and Cater.
Okay, that is number 3 actually.
He said it was the worst beating in UFC history, statistically speaking. He said the worldview here is out of whack unless Max tests positive for EPO.
Yeah, he also talks about the awful prelims and how Max has gotten really good at setting up combos with a slapping left hook, or slapping lead hook rather, which, 100%. Like, it's impressive. It's something that Diaz has done for a long time, or both of them, and it totally works, especially as a volume pressure fighter like that. Just out of curiosity in chat saying they got McNugget's number, leg kicks. I mean, I feel like everybody who's been watching Conor fight for the longest time has been yelling that. It's just Conor's a really good counter puncher, so a lot of people are not crafty enough at setting up leg kicks and not get eaten alive on the counters. Poirier was able to sustain it and then really chop hard at calves. And Conor's stance makes calf kicks eminently effective. Fucking immediately and super, super imminently. Like, you can't... I think Dustin wasn't really throwing that many leg kicks early towards the end of the first. Anyway, we'll get into that later, but yeah. Super impressive either way. Let's see. Chris, do you have a skip or a can't miss this week? My skips, I feel like we talked so much about skips last week, or, on the thing that people are going to see here this... towards the end of the week, our 2020 award show, we talked so much about the shows that should be skipped. I feel like I'm pretty worn out on all that.
Yeah, I had the can't miss. I believe we actually already discussed this. It was the Elite XC. I think we already talked about that.
Oh, you know what? Why don't you bring it up again real quick? We do talk about it on our award show, but this is again another one from last year that was really good. So it's worth mentioning.
So it was from the co-main event Power Hour, just from like a summer ago, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around
there. It tripped me out at first because I forgot the intro music to the Power Hour. It's the same as a baseball podcast I listened to called Baseball Barbecue.
Oh, nice.
So I was kind of confused. I was like, wait, did I...
What's up, fight fans?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Or it's the song. It's like the... It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's one of the classic fucking... what's the name of that site that everybody uses? Giant Bomb uses it. It's there's a classic music website that is like barely off versions of a lot of songs. It's a great site. I forget the name of it. Network. The Audio Network.
I enjoyed this a lot because they're grilling Jimmy Lennon Jr., who I believe is his name, the ring announcer.
Yep, and this is Elite XC Heat, we should say, since they did do 2 Elite XC streams.
Yep, this was Heat. Remember they went to discuss the first fight, Murillo Ninja Hua versus Benji Radek. Ben had a fun story about...
Benji Radek's girlfriend?
Yeah, his girlfriend saying she kind of resembled a porn star from the 80s.
Yeah.
And they're just very boisterous and loud, and they're just kind of crazy in the
hotel. I believe at one point she rode a case of beer through the hotel lobby at like 7 in the morning in that story.
They discussed who was in Benji Raddick's corner. I know it was Dan Henderson, but I believe the other gentleman was Lorenz Larkin.
Maybe.
I couldn't really recognize him though, to be fair.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Kind of looked like a young Lorenz Larkin, but I can't remember. Possible. They said Gina Carano. Laugh out loud.
Oh my god, that's right. A lot of this stuff is going to be repeats from stuff you'll hear, but yeah, man, that was the last time. That was right before Gina Carano became unbearable.
And I remember as we discussed this just 2 days ago, Gina Carano was trending on Twitter for being transphobic and crazy.
Yeah, she also, as of I think today, I think she, as of today, was saying, "Fucking, you don't know your change until you move. You don't know whether you're chained or not unless you test it." Fucking whatever, fucking dumb, like, just, oh my god. I had no idea so many people thought sayings on candles were super intelligent and uplifting. It drives me goddamn nuts.
That is definitely a nominee for cringiest, corniest thing I've ever seen. The number one that took the cake was that bullshit that Masvidal posted with like the chimpanzee holding a gun.
You haven't been paying attention to the Kawa's Twitter or Masvidal's Twitter over the last 24 hours, in which they go to war over saying that MLK's niece loves Trump after everyone else in his family clearly have come out and say that is fuck that dude for everything. And everyone's posting the, of course, MLJ's like, I prefer socialism to capitalism kind of quotes. And fucking, oh my god, it drives me so fucking nuts, dude. I blocked the Kawas on Twitter this week. The Kawas are blocked. Ali Abdelaziz is blocked. I can't fucking see their dumb shit anymore. Gina Carano's about to get blocked. I'm telling you right now, dude, I can't do it.
No, I've been blocking some irresponsible.
I just can't do it. Like,
individuals on Twitter myself. It's mostly muting it. I just don't want to see it. Is what it comes down to. So anyway,
I don't want them to see stuff we do at this point. Yeah, enough of that. We go into that enough.
Yeah, so Chris Cyborg drinking a rum and coke in the crowd. Couldn't tell if they're serious because I just saw her smiling, but I wouldn't put it past Chris Cyborg.
She might have been. That fight was in LA, right?
They were making fun of a gentleman who had a hat like this. I was kind of looking down.
They kept asking whether it's Jens Pulver or Kid Cope. Yeah, which, by the way, I realized at one point I 100% used to wear my hat at the same angle as Jens Pulver for a decade before I knew who Jens Pulver was. And we both have the last name Pulver. So I don't know. Maybe it's in our genes, bro. I literally wore my hat like that from 5th grade till I don't know, till I stopped wearing hats consistently for a while. So, I don't know, sometime in high school. And I found out who Jens Pulver was and saw, that motherfucker does the same shit.
They mentioned Hulk Hogan, brother, in the crowd with his daughter.
Hulk and Brooke Hogan in the crowd is dumb as shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chad loses his mind.
Yeah, Roy Nelson versus Angel Arlovsky. They said Andre made $500,000, apparently, for that fight. CBS play-by-play guy Gus Johnson thinks jiu-jitsu could be anything. Yeah, they also looked at Jake Shields, Paul Daly. Yeah, it was, and then the main event being Seth Pedrozelli versus Kimbo Slice,
and the death of Elite XC.
Yeah, and Gus Johnson losing his shit. Seth shocks the world.
Even though everyone who knew fighting at the time was like, Kimbo's gonna get fucked up, dude. It is. Yeah, Elite XC was a weird period of time. The three weirdest promotions that I wish the promotion I wish there's more footage on that's really hard to find is IFL. The one that Ben Folks used to cover. It was so weird, and there's so many sketchy stories about the gloves having a weird gel in them and making them heavier, which is why you saw so many weird, crazy knockouts and just all the shady shit around IFL that I've heard. I wish that was more widely available, and I have a feeling there's a reason why it's not. But yeah, all those promotions in that era, though, Affliction, Elite XC, IFL, were all very cool but very sketchy and weird. I think we saw even Gary Shaw's kids show up at some point during that fucking show, if I remember right, which is always funny. Let's see. So I think let's see. So for my can't miss this one, but if you guys have at all been paying attention to our Twitter, or if you have at all been on YouTube, you probably have been watching, or you probably watched the Body Lock episodes they did on YouTube. I don't know what to call them, live streams, I guess, for their tailgate, their fight companion, and their post-fight show. And it was the most goddamn fun I had all weekend. Full disclosure, I was boozing it up real good. I took some THC syrup at one point because Aunt Walker was doing edibles, so I felt like I had to keep up with the cool kids. And I just had THC syrup, so it seemed like a good idea.
What I thought was funny is just yesterday morning or afternoon, I think it might have been like middle of the afternoon. I remember I was just on YouTube and I was like, I was showing my brother, I was like, hey Kyle, look at this, and I was like, wait, I saw all of a sudden it said Sound of Violence commenting, like, oh, there's Pulver.
Yep.
Just in the middle of like the live chat.
Yeah.
And then someone said, what do you think of Proper 12? And I just commented, Proper 12 is proper shite, And then of course you said like my name, like, hey, it's this guy,
Yeah.
And I just have like the bugged eyes, like.
Well, to be fair, that chat was, or that entire, not just the chat, but also like the panel was dope, and the chat was lit as fuck too. Like it was Pat Auger from the Body Lock, Ant Walker, Matt Wells, and Drake Riggs, all from the Body Lock. Dan Tom dropped in chat. Matt Hunter dropped in chat. We were hanging out in chat. I saw a couple other people drop in as well. It was a lot of fun. Everybody's drinking. They are actively scoring fights. So if you guys want to actively watch media score fights in real time and submit their answers to the MMA decisions, you can do that. It's a lot of fun, man. It was just.
I'll ask you this.
Cool as hell.
Since I didn't join the live stream, since I had people over and didn't want to be like glued to my phone, did they have cheese and wine? Just kidding. That's not a serious question.
No, but 100% Pat Auger was eating a 3-cheese quesadilla in which he was dumping Poirier's Louisiana hot sauce on it.
Talking about quesadillas, B?
Yeah, I'm talking about quesadillas, B. I don't know what Matt was eating the hot sauce on. Probably chips or something. But, Matt, Pat, and I don't know if Drake... I don't think Drake had the hot sauce. I know Matt and Pat did. And then I know that Ant Walker's in there drinking Jim Beam like a goddamn professional. People who actually drink whiskey will all say, like, oh yeah, I got a handle of Jim Beam on my bar for sure. That's like my go-to of like, if I don't want to fucking spend money on something, I'll pour Jim Beam or just like pound a glass of that with in whatever fucking dumb combo. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And yeah, man, it was just a blast. Everybody's doing shots, everybody's hanging out, talking shit. Everything gets covered, from the Kawas being problematic to, because like half of the time during all the Kawa shit, it's Ant and Matt Wells like also just tag teaming along with Andreas Hale on that, and that was like on breaks during parts of the show and shit. So it's like all of that hilariousness on top of like they previewed the whole card and then they watched the card live, so you can watch along with them, see their real reactions when fucking Chandler knocks out Hooker, or when Poirier finishes Conor, and we're all dropping diamonds in the chat, and I'm getting clowned on for using the diamonds that are on cards instead of the gem icons.
I got made fun of because I was the only motherfucker who bounced out of my seat on the couch, and I was like this in the air, like running around.
Yeah.
Like and everyone's looking at me, what the fuck's wrong with this idiot? And then Dozer, Blake's dog, is like this, like trying to jump on me. He's like, he gets all like way too excited and shit. Dog freaks out.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I just started high-fiving everyone. It's like, fuck all of you motherfuckers. Like, what else? Why are you watching the fight? Like, aren't you hyped? And then they got hyped. It's like, come on. I guess I was the hype man. It's like, come on.
Yeah, you were the fucking flavor of the event.
And of course, Blake always says, you remind me of Pulver that one time we watched that pay-per-view at Tap House when Woodley knocked out Robbie Lawler.
Okay.
When you were like 3 sheets to the wind, you're like, I remember it was like dead silent in Tap House.
Holy fuck! Well, it's because everybody was rooting for Lawler because we live in Southern California where everybody likes Robbie Lawler.
You literally stand up and you're like, "Whoa!"
I was also wearing a Robbie Lawler shirt because I love Robbie Lawler as well.
Yeah, because like,
I think to be fair though, it was me and it was motherfucking Danny Downs, who was also there that night. Who was the guy? Danny Downs was there that night, remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, it was me and Danny Downs lost our mind, but everybody else, no, not so much. Well, I mean, yeah, everybody else. Well, to be fair, I might have been a little drunk at that point.
Shit. But you were louder, and that's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I've never been known. I've never been known to be. I hate the way that sounds. I've never been known to be that loud, Chris. I'm notoriously quiet.
There are fun fight memories at Tap House for sure, but also memories where I have a gentleman on my right. I remember watching a fight night with a friend, and he's like, "Bro, I swear to you, I'm telling you, Nate Diaz is 215 pounds when he rehydrates. I'm telling you." And I remember respectfully.
Oh, dude, I remember that. Yes, 100%. He did the Skip Bayless.
I was like, just so you know, I was like, so you're telling me he dropped 60 pounds? I'm like, you're telling me that? He's like, yes. And I'm just in my mind, I'm like, abort. You're just gonna be arguing with someone that's already made up their mind. And I'm like, all right, cool. And in my head, I'm like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
100%. Also, shouts out to Just Out of Curiosity in chat who says, you and my girlfriend would have a lot in common, saying I got that Seth Rogen stoned giggles. I get the Seth Rogen thing quite a bit. I don't know why. I don't see it, but then again, I don't know. I don't sound like how I sound in my head. Like Green Man. That's the thing is, I don't think I can do the Seth Rogen laugh, but everybody says that's what I sound like. So I think it's just a fat kid who sounds like who's high all the time sounds like Seth Rogen. A lot of people. Rogen,
see his Twitter spat with piece of shit seditious Ted Cruz.
He's the goddamn best. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Ted Cruz talked about like some movie that he loved, and then Seth Rogen just chimes in. By the way, everyone who's involved in that movie would fucking hate you.
He's been killing Ted Cruz. It's my favorite. But yeah, to finish it off though, the Body Lock UFC 257 coverage from the pre-show where they did their predictions and the tailgate. They tried the Poirier hot sauce, which I will stand by is really good. They also, for some reason, said that Proper 12 is acceptable, which means they all have bad taste in whiskey. I know Drake Riggs was not on board that train. I was drinking Michter's at the time. I'm not drinking fucking Proper 12.
I have some Michter's in my house that I was yesterday.
Dude, how good is Michter? Is it the US one? The US blended?
It's the one with like a navy colored backing, or it's like black and red. I don't know which one. I think it's single, whatever it's called.
Oh wait, you might have a different one because it's not the blue one. That's like the US. It's like a blend of American whiskeys.
I don't think it's the blend. I think it's like the single batch, or whatever you call it. I always forget.
That's probably really good. Yeah, the American one's super vanilla-y and just delicious. I just out of curiosity in chat saying Proper 12 is not even good with Coke. 100%. It's bad. Jameson is less expensive and it's twice as good. I actually, you guys will see my opinion on Proper 12 on the break, because I actually have a clip from this Body Lock episode where they read my comment about why they're so cool with Proper 12 actively on the show. So you'll be able to enjoy that. Also, I think Matt Wells called me an alcoholic. He's not wrong, but I think he low-key did, which is hilarious. So I think that's the main ones I had for that. Chris, did you have any other honorable mentions that you didn't throw out there?
I had the Body Lock 257 preview where that was the
catch, right? Oh no, the 257 preview. Yeah.
I don't really have any. I just have more stuff I'll mention, but I mean, there's nothing else really me that I don't want to say I don't want to discuss. I mean, I'll discuss some more stuff.
I mean, anything that like stood out that you want to throw out just because you thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk in depth about it, but if you just want to throw out some names or a line or two about it.
I'll say this, and no one's really just talked about this, and unfortunately it was smack dab in the middle of a Holloway and McGregor card, but the Michael Chiesa defeated Neil Magny.
Yeah, I still haven't even seen that card, dude. I'm gonna be completely honest.
So I saw the main event. That's the only part I saw because I was like, well, I might as well. Because I listened to the co-main event Wednesday live chat from this past Wednesday, and
right.
Essentially, it's Chiesa ragdolling Magny for 5 rounds.
That's what I heard.
A lot of fun scrambles, including Magny reversing stuff. It's pretty much. It looks like a wrestling match.
Hey, I'm down to watch that for sure.
And they also discussed. They're like,
which one was this? I'm sorry.
It's called a co-main event Wednesday live chat.
Oh, right, their Wednesday live chat. Right.
So, their main point too is they're like, let's just get this out of the way. How did Chiesa ever make 155? Like, first off, the man is like 6'2", or whatever, or 6'1", you know, he's super broad-shouldered, you know, big chest, all that, and they said he still looks like a middleweight. They just still don't believe that. And I was watching him like, yeah, this dude's a motherfucking middleweight.
Yeah,
he's huge.
I mean, he's always been humongous.
Yeah.
They both are actually like very big, but yeah, no, Chiesa's fucking crazy.
Ben and Jed also brought up the question of, is it better for the UFC to be content forward instead of waiting for fighters to emerge as marketable? You know, as in, do they pump out fights more frequently, or, you know, for a certain fighter like Khamzat Chimaev, for example, clearly Dana's banking on him being a marketable star, assuming he can defeat Leon Edwards when that fight happens.
I mean, I don't think they care. I think they were kind of trying to use him as bait to, like, just get anyone interested in anything at the time.
Yeah.
And he was easily marketable because he had a couple quick finishes, and they just kept booking him and shit where he's obviously going to get quick finishes, or at least they thought he would. It's the exact same thing they did with what's his face after the KO. I almost said Daquan Townsend, but that's definitely not who I was at all talking about. The dude who got the knockout of the year last year. What's his name?
Joaquin Buckley.
Joaquin Buckley, thank you. Yeah, 100%. They booked him the exact same way. The difference is they don't understand matchmaking that well. And he actually took the fights and didn't have 18 dropouts via COVID.
Yeah, and then Joaquin Buckley got the babbity booped.
Yeah, you know? just like Homeboy's about to get bobbity booped when he if he ever faces Leon Edwards.
I hope so. Is all I can say.
Yeah, so you get wrestling booped, manner, but yeah.
You know, as a fight fan, I hope Leon Edwards wins. He deserves a win. He's been shit on unfairly. I know there's that whole Masvidal thing, but whatever. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that was so much more fun back a year ago, huh?
Yeah, before Masvidal went.
Before Masvidal just
and Trumper
lost his goddamn mind. He should really move to Puerto Rico and hang out with the Danaher guys.
Yeah. We can only hope. And then lastly, someone in live chat mentioned, "Hey gentlemen, hey Ben and Chad, I've been looking for good martial arts films. They said if you guys want to look at good martial arts films, check out The Raid by Gareth Evans. Those Indonesian
of course.
I've seen both of them.
Yeah, they're great. Those hallway scenes are unbeatable.
And the second one is essentially, honestly, like The Godfather meets Heat. It's really action-packed. It's crazy. It's violent.
Well, the editing in those is so beautiful. Like, that hallway scene, the complete uncut, like, oh my god, it's so pretty.
And you've seen them both, right? Or just the first one?
I saw the first one a long time ago, yeah, when it came out.
Definitely. I don't know if we could ever do a commentary of that because it's not, in my opinion, it's not a bad movie. And I think
that's the problem is, like, we have to do a different kind of show for those.
Where we're, like, it's actually, us the whole time. Yeah. We would just be like this, oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, it would be less fun to do a commentary and it would be more fun to do a discussion afterwards or something.
And we could still strive for that. That'd be fun. Anyways, the point that the listener...
Oh, and also, wait, we should say first, speaking of commentaries, we have not forgotten Irreversible and Adam Hunter Special are both still on our list. We will, I promise you guys, this weekend coming up when there's no card, we will put out specifically a video where we just talk about our feelings about Irreversible and Adam Hunter Special. Because I feel like they need to be in the same video. We're going to put it on YouTube. So if you guys are interested in that, go check out our YouTube.
Who hates their viewing more? Myself for doing that to myself, or you for doing
honestly,
that to yourself?
I would argue yours might be more artistic. I would argue there's no doubt that yours is more artistic. To be fair to Adam Hunter, at least he's had really good jokes about it when I've made jokes to him on Twitter about it. So, like when he made the yeah, he's been a good sport. So,
and I was gonna say the commenter on who brought up the Raid films. They said, "I bring this up to you, gentlemen, because I just had the displeasure of watching Jiu-Jitsu with Nick Cage in a movie that features zero Jiu-Jitsu, and it's all sword fighting.
Yep.
And men flexing in baby Gap shirts."
Dan Tom, a random Dan Tom appears in chat since we mentioned the film Irreversible. So, I get Dan Tom must have the scariest goddamn Google notifications of all time. I'm pretty convinced at this point.
Dan's probably like, I fucking love that movie.
Dan does well. Dan feels like that. I feel like Dan feels the only way that you can feel about that movie. I feel like anybody who says they love that movie,
I imagine just all mindset, like how you go into that film.
I
already know, like I don't want to
beautiful.
Say I anticipate being uncomfortable. I already anticipate that, but I feel like if I have that same mindset going in, I'm just gonna be like, oh, now I'm uncomfortable. Now you can't just.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of like you dread something that you're anticipating doing, an activity you're watching before you actually even do it. If you just go into something and just do it, it's gonna be way less impactful.
Yeah, like I'd rather do
how much you hate
I'd rather do a 3-hour cardio session than watch Adam Hunter's special, but I'm gonna do it for the people. So we have that coming up. Dan Tom, I don't know if he caught it. I think he might have, but we will be doing that. I think probably we'll try and put that out next weekend, like Saturday-ish, if I can make that happen. I have 4 hours of award show audio and video to cut still, so we'll see. And we haven't even done the top 10 yet, so we'll see how all that goes.
Yeah, that's all. I know I went on a little bit. That's all I have, I think, for the rest of kind of this stuff from my notes. I know I could, from what you'll mention next, if I've listened to it, I'll kind of maybe say some side stuff. But
yeah, I mean, I think we went over a lot of the stuff I had. The Heavy Hands Patreon bonus, which you guys heard on the intro, was absolutely hilarious. Phil McKenzie talking about how it's impossible to pick Jessica Eye fights, which I feel like, once again, we were proven right. I feel like no one going into that Jessica Eye fight was like, this is going to be super exciting and pretty fun. But it was pretty fun, man. And
shouts out to my brother Kyle for impromptu betting me $10. He's like, I've got Eye. I'm like, you're on.
Yeah, it was a good thing you didn't take Hebus, huh?
Yeah, no. And speaking of Hebos, out of curiosity, and I was proven right because it's Reddit and everyone there is thirsty and needs to go to horny jail.
Yeah.
That was
like the Sahara, as Jack Slack would say. Yep.
Yeah. The one dude that had that comment about Shevchenko, very similar.
Yep.
Yeah. It was. I was entertained though.
100%. Let's see. So some other honorable mentions from this week. Severe MMA. Sean Sheehan, he actually hinted last week in the chat that he had a Dan Hardy preview of Conor versus Dustin, where he specifically talked about the Southpaw versus Southpaw matchup. They specifically talked about stuff like the danger and the slip counter because you slip towards the danger hand. He talks about which way is Poirier going to choose to circle and and Poirier's tendency to land in exchanges in the first fight, which all proved to be pretty relevant, as well as Severe MMA on the Patreon. I think some of these might have made them to the main feed as well, but I know they're definitely on the Patreon, and I recommend Severe MMA Patreon all the time. It's fucking great. It is arguably and proven to be possibly a top 3 Patreon to subscribe to in 2020 and beyond. Let's see. So yeah, he also had Luke Thomas on to preview Poirier versus McGregor. That was pretty interesting. It talks a lot about Poirier refining his style and adapting to 155, and Dustin's cardio empowering him and his confidence to raise his output, which, man, did that prove relevant, huh?
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, speaking of our boy Dan Tom in chat, he got a lot. I'm not going to incriminate a man, but I'm just saying Dan Tom in episode 149, for some reason, I'm not going to say for any specific reason, chose to use white lines on the intro of his podcast for the preview for UFC 257, and I respect it. It's just a really good episode. I definitely recommend it. Submission Radio, the UFC Dan Hooker or the UFC 257 Dan Hooker interview is pretty good. I like that for sure. Let's see, we talked about that. Oh, and the other one I had was Best Camp of My Life, episode 13 with Karen Bryant, was real good. Tengradome, episode 7 was super solid. It's good to see Iggy back. And Care Don't Care for UFC Fight Island 7 reactions was fucking great. That actually could have been a catch, to be honest, in retrospect. It's just a lot of fun and super entertaining. I love Steffi, John Nash, and Eugenics Robinson, and that show is... It honestly is like a very refreshing kind of preview that's very different than all the other previews, because it's like, it's them talking about like, man, do I have to sit down on the couch at this time of the day just to watch this fight, or am I not gonna bother? kind of thing. And it's like, is it relevant to the division? Is it relevant to, is it an interesting fight? Is it just one-sided? I think in general it's great, so I highly recommend it. So yeah, those are the ones that I recommend. Before we get to our second segment, Chris, we do have one other bit for this segment. Iggy is the man. I agree, Dan Tom, and big shout out to the Fight Side dudes who, yeah, I mean they have been all over my content coverage recently, as well as Dan Tom has been. Dan Tom does not know our award show stuff recently, but Dan Tom shows up on our award show stuff. He had a lot of good content in 2020, so keep an eye out for that. Again, we'll be dropping that this week. And yeah, Dan, keep showing up on podcasts because we love it. All right, so Matt. Oh god damn it! I have to scroll back up in our chat just so I can remember how to say Matt Joya's name. Matt Joya from the Fight Site, Matt G. Fucking Dan Tom's the best. You should be on our chat just to read some of the stuff Dan Tom says.
Yeah, no,
also,
I've always tried to pull it up on my phone, but I kind of get distracted.
No, I don't mean you. I mean the world.
Oh, the world. Yeah.
Well, you as well. But also Dan Tom in the chat of the Body Lock guys making my favorite DP hot sauce jokes with me. I'm a big fan. You know the new slogan for Dustin Poirier's hot sauce, Chris?
I've probably heard it, but remind me.
It's a DP hot sauce. You're going to need 2 bottles.
That's great.
It's real bad. I forget Dan's. If Dan remembers his joke, he can drop it in chat, and I'll say that as well. Because it was my favorite. Speaking of jokes, though, Matt, oh God, I have to scroll up again, even though I just said it. Matt Joya had challenged us a while back to make a terrible joke since we're making fun of Adam Hunter's special and how rough it is, which I still blame a lot on the editing from the Fight Pass team. I think a lot of that's their fault. But so Matt wrote a joke and I wrote a joke, and they're both real good. So Chris, I'm going to read this in real time, and here we go. Hold on, before we get to that. Dan Tom, DP hot sauce. It'll penetrate. It'll penetrate your taste buds. Real solid, real solid. So, speaking of great, terrible MMA jokes, scrolling up again. Matt Joya said, "Let's see, UFC more like Boo FC. Get it? I put as much effort in as they do in the promotion." Which, to be fair, I fucks with that real strong. So I will say, so of course I was just struggling to come up with a dumb MMA joke because all MMA jokes are pretty dumb. And of course I was like, well, probably should make a Dan Hooker joke since he's fighting this weekend. And evidently I wasn't the only one. So Chris, I'm gonna ask you, which of these jokes is better? Just out of curiosity, doing some math in chat. It's a good one, right? It takes a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. So MMA roasted. Here's Adam Hunter's joke, which it's not the worst joke, but let me know if you like this one or mine better. Word is Michael Chandler brought in Angel Magana to his training camp, so he knows what it's like sparring with a hooker.
Oh, so you're asking if that's yours or his? Right?
No, I'm not asking you. I'm saying that's one joke.
Okay.
Here's another joke. Did I ever tell you Dan Hooker hit on my ex-girlfriend? I encouraged it, but she told me never hook with a hooker.
That's 100% his.
The second one?
Yeah.
I wrote the second one.
Oh, then yeah. See, I couldn't even tell.
It's a better joke, right? Because it at least has layers, and it's not just Angela's a hooker. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. It's a dumb joke either way, but hook with a hooker is at least there's a layer to that joke. I don't know, man. I'm sure if the UFC would have put crickets after every joke I made like they did on his special, it would have really sold it better. So.
No, dude, you just need to shit on Mike Perry.
Right, 100%. I mean, I will. Please let me remind everybody: there's no good MMA jokes except for maybe Dustin Poirier hot sauce bottle jokes. I'm starting to think. But we will go ahead and wrap this segment here. We will be back to talk UFC 157. 157? What year is it? 257.
Sounds like it's 2013 or no, it's like
earlier than that, probably. Yeah. You know what? Let's do a fun thing, Chris. When was UFC 157?
Yeah, let's guess. 157. I'm gonna guess 2013.
Dude, you fucking nailed it. February. You almost nailed it to the date. You're a month off. It was February 23rd, 2013 instead of January 24th, 2013. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was Ronda Rousey, Liz Carmouche. Holy shit, I feel old. Oh my God, I feel old. That was 2013? That was 7 years ago. Oh my God.
Damn.
Okay, well, we all have an existential crisis on the break about where the fuck the time has gone and how we're all going to die soon.
Yeah, I'm thinking, where was I when I was almost 23? Yeah, at that point I was like,
Nobody
was
likes
I in
you when
college, kind of?
Nobody likes you when you're 23, Chris. Everybody knows this. All right, I'm done with the bad jokes. We're out of here. We will be back in the next segment talk UFC 257. I'm excited about it. It was a fucking great card with a lot of fun stuff. So, in the meantime, please listen to this clip of me dunking on DP hot sauce. It'll open up your orifices. Jesus Christ. Maybe hang out and chat if you guys are not doing that, because it's a good time. Anyway, this next clip is all about DP hot sauce and other celebrity endorsed products and how I feel about one of them. So we will be back.
Liked by the sound of violence.
It's amazing. I love when, athletes come out with products that are like really good. And yeah, so we have two really good ones here. So I would recommend both of these. Like Proper 12, like people said, a lot of, I guess, like hardcore drinkers, alcoholics, say it's not like the best in the world, but for a casual drinker like me, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
I would say if you're the type of guy that has a whiskey cabinet where you're doing like Maker's Mark and Jim Beam, and well, really you're not gonna have Jim Beam. You're gonna have Jack Daniels. You're gonna have Angel's Dust. All those fancy whiskeys. This is not the one for you. But if you're just a casual drinker that wants to have some whiskey on a particular night, just hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna have whiskey tonight. I'm with you. It's fine. It's not bad.
Nothing wrong with it.
I mean, I was saying, I'm amazed at how well you're surviving the Proper 12. It's right between Mike Melvin and Jameson.
by the sound of violence.
It's amazing. I love when athletes come out with products that are like really good. And yeah, so we have two really good ones here. So I would recommend both of these. Like Proper 12, like people said, a lot of, I guess, like hardcore drinkers, alcoholics, say it's not like the best in the world, but for a casual drinker like me, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
I would say if you're the type of guy that has a whiskey cabinet where you're doing like Maker's Mark and Jim Beam, and well, really you're not gonna have Jim Beam. You're gonna have Jack Daniels. You're gonna have Angel's Dust. All those fancy whiskeys. This is not the one for you. But if you're just a casual drinker that wants to have some whiskey on a particular night, just hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna have whiskey tonight. I'm with you. It's fine. It's not bad.
Nothing wrong with it.
I mean, Sound of Violence saying, I'm amazed at how well you're surviving the Proper 12. It's right between Black Velvet and Jameson.
Liked by the sound of violence.
It's amazing. I love when athletes come out with products that are like really good. And yeah, so we have two really good ones here. So I would recommend both of these. Like Proper 12, like people said, a lot of, I guess, like hardcore drinkers, alcoholics, say it's not like the best in the world, but for a casual drinker like me, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
I would say if you're the type of guy that has a whiskey cabinet where you're doing like Maker's Mark and Jim Beam, and well, really you're not gonna have Jim Beam. You're gonna have Jack Daniels. You're gonna have Angel's Dust. All those fancy whiskeys. This is not the one for you. But if you're just a casual drinker that wants to have some whiskey on a particular night, just hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna have whiskey tonight. I'm with you. It's fine. It's not bad.
Nothing wrong with it. I mean,
Sound of Violence saying, I'm amazed at how well you're surviving the proper 12. It's right between Mike Velvet and Jameson.
Liked by the sound of violence.
it's amazing. I love when athletes come out with products that are like really good. And yeah, so we have two really good ones here. So I would recommend both of these. Like Proper 12, like people said, a lot of, I guess, like hardcore drinkers, alcoholics, say it's not like the best in the world, but for a casual drinker like me, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
I would say if you're the type of guy that has a whiskey cabinet where you're doing like Maker's Mark and Jim Beam, and well, really you're not gonna have Jim Beam. You're gonna have Jack Daniels. You're gonna have Angel's Dust. All those fancy whiskeys. This is not the one for you. But if you're just a casual drinker that wants to have some whiskey on a particular night, just hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna have whiskey tonight. I'm with you. It's fine. It's not bad.
Nothing wrong with it. I mean,
Sound of Violence saying, I'm amazed at how well you're surviving the proper 12. It's right between Mike Velvet and Jameson.
We're back.
Yeah, we are.
I am drinking Zoom Bar from a little known brewery we probably never talked about, New English Brewing Company.
I was going to say called Old English.
Yeah, called Old English, exactly. Down here in San Diego. Chris, I think you might have heard of them.
That's the rumor.
That is the rumor. My favorite coffee stout, probably. I think I said that earlier, and it prompted me to drink one. Chris, you got a beer too, right?
Ooh, this is... I haven't had a beer like this in a while. So, it is from a brewery. The spelling is Dutch.
I thought the Dispelling was the name of it. I was like, what kind of German fucking beering? It's called Dispelling. Dispelling.
It's called Brewery, Brewery, but it looks like it's Dutch.
Is it Brewery West?
Yes.
Dude, Brewery West is delicious. I've actually had a ton of their beers. They're from LA.
says San Pedro.
Yeah, San Pedro. But I mean, like right kind of in that.
So this
area.
is cool because the logo. I was
They're
like,
great.
why is there a bunch of donuts and skateboard wheels?
Yeah, and if you touch the label, Chris, you'll see it's actually laser engraved, so where it's actually layers of stickers on layers of stickers.
Oh, I see that now. Yeah,
They have a very, very unique and very cool can art style that I'm a huge fan of. Brewery West, I believe they had to change their name to Brewery West because they were originally named after the street they were on, which you can't do.
Yeah, hence Thorn.
Well, you can do Thorn, but you can't do directions. So if it was like Thorn West Street that they were on,
I see.
you can't do Thorn West Street. You can only because you can't put a. I believe the rule is you can't make a. What is it called? You can't copyright a cardinal direction on a street or like on a.
Because I remember it was before I worked there. New English had a very good porter called Adams Avenue Porter.
Yeah, and in general, it's very hard to get away with doing that kind of stuff. Wait, why don't they make a porter anymore? Why don't you guys?
I'd have to ask my boss. I don't know
You
why.
should do that because I love porters, and you guys are specifically a brewery who is good at making styles similar to porters. Like the people who are good at making ESBs are good at making porters or stouts.
And we make a very good English brown in a stout.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. You guys are literally hitting every.
So this beer.
Where's the Pulver Porter at? I just want to.
So this brewery from Brewery West, this beer is called, it's called Day One versus Beer, Volume 1. It's an India Pale Lager. I'm on Untapped. It says, we teamed up with our great pal, skateboarding legend and nice guy, San Pedro local
Dylan Sawa? Fuck
Yep.
yeah!
It says,
Dylan
for this incredibly
Sawa's
crushable,
tight.
dry hopped IPL, Day One wanted to find
Dude, that's so
a
cool.
way to combine the body of Pilsner with a hop forward flavor profile, so we set out to accomplish just that. Airwalking over your palate. I like that.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
crisp, light-bodied IPL drops from a Citra,
Fuck yeah.
YET, and Vic secret hops packed with bright citrus, apricot, pineapple, and pine. Day One versus beer. Yeah,
That's cool as hell, man. Day One Song is like, of course, anybody who grew up in Southern California and skated knows how much of a legend that dude is.
Yeah, this is really good.
I mean, he's like the Eric Costin of. He's alongside like Eric Costin and those dudes. Like he may not have been in the faction, the band, but goddamn.
Yeah,
I'm making some deep skateboarding references right now.
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't grow up
Dude,
skating.
the faction.
So the only
God.
skating I know is like playing Tony Hawk and then occasionally watching the.
See,
Ice
I
Games.
grew up around dudes like Pete Smolik and Brandon Turner and everybody
Yep.
always showing up like while you're out like skating and being like, hit that rail, bro. so good. Yeah, I don't know. San Diego is a weird place for, especially back then for growing up around skating. It was cool. It's cool to see it coming back too. I've been seeing a lot of. Speaking of which, Cisco Mode, who I shouted out earlier. Oh, Chris, you know what? Before we get into this card and recap 257 very quickly, we should shout out some of the honorable mentions that are not MMA related because we forgot to do that. And the main one I wanted to shout out is I heard Cisco Mode, who did my favorite video of all time last year. Young dude out of San Diego. Chris, I showed you the video where he did the. I don't remember the name of that song, but the Mimi your girlfriend's hoe, da 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 da, oh yeah, where he went to Slab City and did the whole video.
That's right. Yep.
It was super fucking good. Anyway, he's evidently starting to put out more content again soon because he got COVID, but he survived because he's like fucking 20 years old. But I'm very happy to see some more stuff out of that dude because I love seeing young kids who skate in San Diego making content. Like that was what the fuck I grew up on. So it's really cool to see dudes 2 decades later doing the same thing. But let's see. So did you have any honorable mentions that were not MMA related? Some well-rounded, I think is what we refer to them as, thanks to the Co-Main Event podcast.
I think we mentioned the stuff that we listened to last week, right? Like the Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I don't know that we mentioned. You're talking Robert Evans on. Yeah. When you guys listen to our, we talked a lot about Robert Evans, and we didn't actually even get to that part yet on the. No, you know what? You're talking episode 185, not our. This is why you always release things in order, because otherwise it gets all confusing like this. Yes, we have talked about Robert Evans and Behind the Bastards, and It Could Happen Here. Those shows are great. They're still great. They're eternally great. They're eternally realistic.
And I know I did mention that one show I've been watching. It's Cinemax, but it's on HBO Max, called Warrior, based on the original story that Bruce Lee penned in like the 60s and 70s. And Hollywood, who's super racist still to this day, was like, nah, we're not going to do that. Entertaining so far. I think I'm about 4 episodes in. The first season, really fun to watch.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty cool things about that.
Like I said, it reminds me of Peaky Blinders meets like Deadwood, but like
that's so weird, but
like with Bruce Lee stylized martial arts. Extremely gory and brutal. There's some parts I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, I'm like, god damn. Like this dude, I'll just say this dude, like, you sure he's not dead? I think he's dead. He's like, let me check. And he like jams a knife into his jugular, and it shows him like slice open his neck, and like all this shit just like starts spilling out. Like, I mean, obviously it's like part of it looks like CGI plus like practical effects, but I was like, wow, I've seen a lot of violent stuff, but even that made me kind of go, oh Jesus, you know.
Well, I can't wait for your review of Irreversible soon, and I hope I can't wait. You know what, Chris? All I want is for you to tell me how you feel about fire extinguishers after that movie.
I mean, when I think of fire extinguisher, I think of someone get like their head bashed in because of like the Capitol riots or some shit. But
we're gonna keep on moving on.
I'll say this: if I've ever seen heads bashed in movies besides the Saw movies, which make me laugh because you can tell how fake they are. I remember I saw that one scene in Drive. That wasn't that bad, but it's still kind of
That was pretty
got curb stomped.
That that one was pretty rough. I'm curious to see how you think think this compares.
Like I said, I already know that I'm not going to be.
I preemptively warn people about certain parts of this.
I'll say this: it's the violence that probably won't get me as far as the other shit.
No, it'll be the other stuff. Yeah, and it won't.
I don't give a fuck.
Let me put it this way: it won't directly. It won't. I don't know how to phrase this, but like, it's going to be rough, but it's not like. I'm pretty sure you'll be all right, but like, it'll put you in a weird headspace. Is all I'm saying.
I'll be fine. I'm just gonna be like, wow, that's gonna make me think for a while. I already knew that. Like,
no, you're gonna have a weird day, whatever day it is, for
that's
sure.
Fine.
And that's Gaspar Noé movies, so that's kind of why they're good.
Yeah, remember I told you, I already mentioned, like, I saw some trivia bit where it's like the dude was just like on all the blow all the time. It's like, wait, does that mean I need to be on blow while watching?
No, don't do that to yourself.
I don't think I'll do that to myself.
You don't need that burned into your head like that. Plus, you'll have to panic tap out halfway through the first 2 minutes if that's the case. Yeah. I'm not even kidding. The first 2 minutes,
I believe you.
If you were on blow trying to watch that, it's already too manic to deal with. All right. So anyway, way off topic. So you said you're well rounded. I said Cisco mode. The only other one have you heard of Fuser, dude?
What's it called?
Fuser.
Fuser?
Yeah. So Fuser is a video game made by the people who created. It's what's the Harmonix, the company who does guitar.
They did Guitar Hero.
Or they don't do Guitar Hero. They do the other one.
No, Rock Band.
And they've done a lot of rhythm games over the years.
Is Fuser the DJ one?
Yes, it is fucking cool, bro.
Cool.
It's very lazy DJing as a video game, and it's a lot of fun.
So, AKA you're Steve Aoki.
Dude, no, you're better than Steve Aoki because you can pick the songs you're pulling.
But you know what I mean by that, like the dude.
Yeah, but like,
I'm not even doing this. Here's a cake. Fuck you.
No. Well, yes and no. Like, but yes, it's very much like that. Except you're not pre-planning your sets. You're spinning your sets live. It auto mixes the pitches.
I'm not even a big EDM guy, but that sounds kind of fun.
Dude, it auto mixes the pitches and the tempos, and you can adjust it on the fly with the easy slider. And then literally, you can pull they basically isolated a drum track, and it's essentially a drum track, an audio track, and then any combination of bass, guitar, or horn, and you can pull from any song on the fly and just start that thing, and it'll auto pitch it to the right thing at the right tempo and everything. It's really crazy.
Is this available for a console and you buy like a controller piece?
No, it's all on a fucking controller.
Huh.
It's really, really weird and really, really
Maybe
cool.
mention it to our good friend Sammy Welsh and see if he tells you to go fuck yourself.
I have not, but Chris, that's a great segue into. I should mention more often. Our buddy Mustachio. This is the. You can see the fucking shitty ring light I use. Gradients, his album. This is literally the cassette I own. Like here, you can literally see it's a cassette. But you can get it on Spotify, or not Spotify. I'm sorry, or maybe on Spotify. But
no, he's on Spotify.
I know he's on Bandcamp, and he's definitely on SoundCloud as well, which we have linked in every single episode. Sammy's one of the best dudes on the planet. He's just a great guy, and we love him to death. I've known that dude since fucking I guess freshman year of high school is when I met him. He's fucking the best. But he also, any of the music you hear on a show, whether it be the fucking song we use for the background of everything, or whether it be the on our commentary tracks, we use the other track from him. He does basically all of our music, and is way too sweet and just a great guy. So go support him for sure. But yeah, you're right. I do need to tell Sammy about it. But man, it's so fun. It's like very simple, and it does so much of the work for you that like you're just like, yo, you know what I want to hear? I want to hear somebody once told me the world's gonna roll me, but I also want to hear it under the beat for like, can I kick it? But I also want the drum segment from like fucking
do they have
some
the
random
license,
shit.
Like tracks?
Yeah, it's all
something?
licensed. Yeah.
Fuck, I gotta check that out.
Dude,
that sounds kind of sick.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of DLC and stuff to it, obviously, because that's how these games work. But like just the base set, dude, it's very dumb but very cool, and you can make some horrible music. You can make some trash if you're not careful. Like if you can put 4 vocal tracks at the same time playing if you really want to. It makes bad sounds, but you can also do really cool stuff.
Just add "Uncontrollable Urge" by Devo. Just as any background was like, yeah.
Well, so that's the only,
and then just like fuck it up with.
But dude, the only thing is so it's only the stuff they have licensed in the game. You can't add anything manually yet, right? But because they have to isolate each track for all the songs because of the way it works. But man, it's very ravey and dumb, but it's so cool. So if you guys want to play a video game,
is there any karaoke bit like Rock Band or no?
No. But it's 100%. You're just DJing straight the fuck up. But you're mixing vocals. You can like spin them. You can isolate them. You can do all kinds of cool shit, pitch shift, all that. But it's like so fucking user friendly. Like as a dude who has played around with some of that stuff and knows how hard it is to match tempos and stuff, it sucks. And they do all the work for you. So it's literally, and then they just video game it like, yo, this person wants to hear the fucking vocals from fucking Call Me Maybe. So you just drop that on top of like fucking OPP background and shit.
So it just play this, and I just met you, and I just met you.
Exactly. But while you have the OPP like music running under the bottom of it, it's very dumb but very fun.
Oh god, as soon as you mentioned Smatha, somebody.
They literally have that song in there. It's one of the ones that I go to all the time.
Or that one meme that was from a couple years ago and it just keeps coming and it don't stop coming and it don't stop. It just keeps going and going and going.
Oh, you mean UFC 257 and Conor don't stop coming, and he don't stop coming, and he don't stop coming. That's a very dumb joke. All right, well, we should, now that we have officially talked about a million things that we should not be talking about on a recap for UFC 257, we should recap UFC 257.
Yeah, someone listening to this once it's uploaded, like, okay, skip. All right, there we go.
We are definitely a skip. But That's why we are a show for the people, by the people, of the people. I make this show, Chris, because this is the show I wish someone else was making. And until someone else does, we have to keep doing it. So I hope one day someone else steals my gimmick and we can just listen to that. But until that day, we're here. So UFC 257 was fucking great, man.
And I actually watched every single fight. I'm proud of myself.
Me too. I actually watched it with the Fight Site guys, the Body Lock guys live. Although I did watch the, fuck, that's one thing I forgot to add on the, god damn it, I'm an idiot. I forgot to add on the previous segment, the alternate commentary that the Fight Site did with with Saram and with, oh God, who was with Saram? It was Ed, right? Was it Ed?
Sounds all right.
Oh my God, I'm having a panic attack. I'm gonna have to look this up now. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hate that I didn't write this down. I am not
By the way, you mentioned if we don't do a fight commentary, we can do a fight or a movie commentary. We can do a movie reaction, right? Where we watch it and react to it.
It is Ed and Saram. Okay, good. Yeah, we could.
So, did you? And I know I'm making us go off topic again. God damn it! I'm sorry. I just had to mention this.
Have you met
on
our
Twitter.
Show? That's kind of our gimmick, bro.
We're
the Jordan Breed of going off topic.
It was a movie trailer for Godzilla versus King Kong.
I did see that. Did you see Dan Tom's tweet where he gave out odds?
No, but that's hilarious.
He said odds on it, yeah. Someone asked Dan Tom for the odds, and he had a very solid breakdown.
I think you said you have HBO or however means you want to watch.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I'm going to watch that when it comes out March 26th. I'm going to be very inebriated. So maybe we'll have like an off-topic, what are your quick thoughts on this?
You know what? Maybe we'll do like an exclusive like YouTube commentary for that. Or we'll just put it, we won't put it on our podcast feed, we'll just put it on the YouTube feed or something.
Because I remember I showed that to Kyle, who loves terrible movies, and he is hyped.
Oh yeah, I'm into that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was trying to catch the Dan Tom odds, but I'm not seeing them off the top of my head. It was hilarious though. He literally set odds for Godzilla and then also factored in his Asian bias. It's fucking so good, Gojira. Dude. Yeah, it's fucking very, very funny. Oh, here we go. I got it. John Franklin was the one that asked. Of course, John Franklin of the Loudmouth MMA Network, formerly, and then I think now he's doing stuff with Craig Allen over on... oh, God. Why can I not think of the name? This is what happens when I constantly reference everybody, is I have a panic attack and then constantly forget everybody's actual name of their network and can only remember. Early stoppage on Fight Night Picks. Fight Night Picks is the name of it. The tweet from Dan Tom, when he's asked about the line on Godzilla vs. King Kong, he says, my Japanese bias mixed with whatever that the light beam shit was, that Godzilla thinks that Godzilla should be favored at in the minus 350 neighborhood. But my wrestling bias seeing King Kong at the upset with plus 250, whether you follow or fade. Which, apologies, because I can't fucking read at all. But, yeah, no, Dan Tom, killing it with the jokes on Twitter. I'm a big fan of it. He's not in chat anymore, by the way. This is just literally, it was a great joke, and it should be repeated, because it was a good joke. Chris, where are we at with this recap? We're starting off at the bottom, right?
Yep. So, first fight of the, evening that we had, because this was not what we're used to, where you watch it in the afternoon or morning. It was fighting out of Iraq. Emir Albazi went up against Kazakhstan's Zalgas Zumagulov.
He's fighting out of Iraq with a Swedish flag.
That's what they said. And he had the Iraq flag when he was in the ring.
This is why you can't trust Tapology.
Yeah. He probably trained in Sweden.
Yeah,
that's probably what it is.
Well, in Reminder, Tapology is user assigned. So.
Yeah, he even said after he won, he's like, I dedicate this fight to the unfortunate bombing that happened in in Baghdad. He blamed Pakistan, I think, where he said Pakistan against. I don't know.
I'm too dumb to talk about the Middle East in any kind
So am
of
I.
fucking...
I don't know anything about that. All I know is there was a tragedy. 30 people died of suicide bombing. Very sad.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
unfortunate.
people shouldn't die in 2021
Nope.
or whatever fucking year it is.
As far as I know, it's still 2020 by the way it's going.
Well, to be fair, people... And while I say people shouldn't die, our country loves killing people right now. So, yeah.
Anyways, it was a very dominant win by Amir Albazi.
Yeah, super solid.
Grappler, but Albazi kept tagging him just on the feet.
I mean, he chopped him down with the leg kicks, and that completely slowed him down, and it forced Zooms to, or ZZ, as I believe the Bodylock guys are referring to him. I do fuck with calling him ZZ. ZZ 100% was just having to essentially lunge super hard and sell out on every single strike, trying to deal with the fact that he was losing his mobility, and it didn't go well over time. To be fair to him though, at the very end of that fight, he was literally sprinting after dude, trying to throw wild ass kicks and punches just to try and catch back up. Which man, like, I would argue that whether or not he could see the scorecards, he would have done that same thing, which is an argument for people knowing about what the fucking score is, but. Yeah, that dude did not at all ever give up at any point in that fight. He was literally sprinting at him, trying to throw kicks and punches at the end. So,
speaking of beatdowns.
Oh my God, this was
rough.
This
a split decision because Nick Lentz had like that guillotine threat in the first round, and they just gave him that? But how do you give him 2 rounds though?
This was so Chris, a fun fact about this split decision is that the judge who scored this for a split decision, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead. I know his last name is Colin. That's just a fact. That's not me making a joke. His last name is Colin. It might be pronounced Cologne.
So it's not just a clever name.
It might be pronounced Cologne. But he was the lone dissenting judge in this fight alongside Ben Cartledge and Sutherland. Ben Cartledge, widely known as the best judge on Fight Island. And has always had pretty exceptional podcast episodes with Sean Sheehan on Severe MMA as well. Actually, one of them almost made one of our episode of the list winners, or episode of the year winners.
List of best of the year.
Exactly. But the lone dissenting judge, Cologne, I think, what's his first name? Let me actually say it out loud. Eric Cologne was also the lone dissenting judge in the Matt Schnell versus Nam fight that happened last week, which a lot of people are not happy about how that went down either. So, should be noted. Bad judging across the board from that dude, 2 fights in a row. Well, to be fair, he had some other okay scorecards, but I don't know how you give Nick Lentz any of this. I mean, you could. Okay, no, that's not true. He won the first round, but he got shit kicked for the other 2.
And he fucking retired afterward too.
Did he?
Yeah, he's done.
Thank God.
Good career for him. I mean, I think.
Terrible person.
Like 25
Good
fights,
career.
had, like,
terrible person.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Well, fuck him then.
Well, yeah, let me. Yeah, he's had some very, very, very bad post-fight interviews where he's shouting out like. Did he shout out Mitch McConnell after a fucking interview? Is that who it was?
Isn't his name?
It was literally somebody like, what was it? I should pull up the actual thing because it was somebody terrible like Mitch fucking McConnell.
That terrible fuck.
It literally. I'm not gonna be able to search this easily. This is not gonna be easily to find. Oh no, it's Brett Kavanaugh. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's fucking Brett Kavanaugh.
That assaulter.
Yeah. Super classy. Super classy. Oh yeah. So fuck Nicholas. What he said.
Moron.
So yeah, I don't know. He got bombed on. I mean, Evloev just constantly landing on the lead hand, tripling up on the jab from opposite stance. Just absolutely dominating Nicholas throughout this fight. Nicholas jumped on a couple guillotines early, but that was about fucking it. And both of them were arm in. One of them was deep as fuck. He even rolled him a mount, but wasn't able to finish it. And that was a wrap. After that, Nicholas just got pieced up. So, yeah. Wild fight, but fuck Nicholas.
That guy's an asshole. Fuck him.
You can't shut up, Brett Kavanaugh. What the fuck are we doing?
This next fight was at men's light heavyweight. It was a Polish fighter, Marcin Prochnio versus American fighter Khalil Roundtree, who... This was close.
It was close. I feel like the body lock kept pointing out, definitely not Bangkok ready Roundtree is not what we saw in that fight.
Yeah, and I remember I mentioned that to Blake, and who else is there? I think my friend Jordan, they were watching the fight, and I was going to explain the background. Like, yeah, Roundtree changed up his game. Then he went to Thailand, and then he looked amazing, and they start calling him Bangkok ready. And I'm like, like, they were definitely...
Well, Bangkok ready is like a long time MMA joke, but yeah, especially Khalil Roundtree, though.
Yeah, I think I scored it for Roundtree, but I remember Prochnio won that third round, though, so I think that's why they gave it to him, because it was close either way.
I mean, he definitely started to look better. He was so tense early on, which, again, I'm just going to be talking a lot about the stuff we talked about in the body lock chat, because that's where I was. And that's a lot of the conversations we were having. But, yeah, he looked super tense early. And Prochnio was able to just put enough volume on him that he really had trouble keeping up over time. Yeah, just looked super tense, and then once he started getting comfortable, that fight started getting a little bit wild. I mean, it was super fun, and it was competitive throughout, but I think dropping the first round was definitely what led to that loss for sure.
Yeah, I mean, good win all around for Marcin Prochnio. I have no idea how light heavyweight... no one knows what's going on with that division.
I mean,
for the title fight.
No one has ever known.
The other two dudes that are kind of contending, which is basically just Alexander Rakic and Yuri Prochazka. That's about it.
I mean, to be fair, though, they're fucking both great, but, you know.
Yeah, and then you got Adesanya and Blachowicz, March 6th? March 6th.
Yeah, that's going to be...
That card is stacked. I remember they showed it. I was like, oh my, that's a very good card.
Dude,
on paper.
Jan Blachowicz. Bro. I don't know how that fight goes, but
I'll say this.
Jan Blachowicz, I feel like I feel like he has to go old school Jan Blachowicz and try and kill Izzy in the first, 5 minutes.
I'll say this. I understand why majority of the picks are for Adesanya, and that's no disrespect to Blachowicz, but it also wouldn't surprise me if Blachowicz catches him and knocks him the fuck out like the first 2 rounds. Like that.
It would have to happen super early, and it would have to happen like back of the ear, like where he clips his equilibrium. Or to be fair though, Blachowicz does have a very educated lead hand, and Adesanya does not.
That's going to be
notoriously has a problem with check hooks.
Even realize that's what it's going to actually probably be a very good.
I think you're
fight.
Probably right, but I think Adesanya fucks him up in range, and that's where Jan is generally best. So it'll be interesting either way. Let's see, dude. This next fight was a super impressive performance.
I'll say this: I was watching like the first round and a half, and then I kind of spaced out.
I mean, to be fair, it's because after that, Juliana Pena just started dominating in every single aspect. Like, she was just housing her after that. So, I don't blame you at all.
Credit to her. I mean, Amanda Nunes is clearly ducking her, so she's clearly got the edge. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that might be one of the dumbest things. To be fair, though, it did lead to one of the funniest dunks that Nina Ansaroff and Amanda Nunes have ever done on Twitter, and they have a lot of them. But good God, were they funny.
She's saying, I beat a silver medalist in the Olympics, which is like, if you take a higher ranked middleweight who happens to beat Yoel Romero, but it's still a terrible analogy. That's not true at all. And they go, "Oh, Adesanya, where you at, motherfucker? You're ducking me." You know, he's like, "Who are you again?" Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's I don't know. Sarah McMahon, I never know what to make of, and I feel like the more time goes on, the less I know what to make of her. She's like less confident Liz Carmouche vibes.
I was about to say she reminds me of Liz Carmouche.
You know, like I don't like, and Liz Carmouche is like, I feel like the confident Sarah McMahon in a lot of ways, which like
they had to have fought each other at some point, right?
I don't know, probably right. They've both been around for no, they never did.
Wow,
holy shit, that's kind of crazy.
Matchmakers.
I would watch that fight. Are they both
Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, do your thing.
Are they both at 25 right now? No, McMahon's 35, right?
Yeah, Carmouche's at 25, or she was.
I don't know if she still is. Anyway, yeah, I never know. These are both Juliana Pena and Sarah McMahon. I never know what to make of which version of them is going to show up. And they both surprised me. Sarah McMahon less so because she looked great for like a little bit and then just completely lost all wrestling exchanges after about 4.5 minutes, or just grappling exchanges in general. So yeah, I don't know. Juliana Pena looked better for sure. She looked way better. She looked much more like the Juliana Pena prior to the Valentina fight, honestly, which is weird to say because that was a long fucking time ago.
Right. That's where Valentina chucked her out.
No, well, she armbarred her, I thought. Didn't she?
Oh, you're right. I
it
thought
was
for a
armbar
second
from
she
guard.
had an arm triangle there.
Well, I think she got caught with an armbar after like
I think
tossing Valentina around a bit, if I remember right. But that was like the last time I had any kind of confidence in Juliana Pena, and yeah, man, she looked very good in this. So, interested to see what she looks like going forward, but also depending on the matchmaking, I don't know how confident I am.
All I can see is good luck.
Yeah, for sure. On to a couple decisions we got up next. Brad Tavares. Yeah.
Brad Tavares with the impressive victory over Shoeface. I also had to explain to Blake. He's like, why is he called Shoeface? And I was like, well, I can't tell you. So I looked it up, and I'm like, apparently his jaw is shaped like a shoe.
No, he's ugly. And it's a Brazilian joke.
That's what. So Blake was like, is he Shoeface because he's ugly?
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
It's a Brazil translation thing where he's like, he's not super attractive, so they call him Shoeface. And he's not that unattractive, to be honest. So it's pretty silly. No, there's way worse looking dudes.
Though, especially when he's like this.
Yeah. His typology picture is not doing him any favors at all. This was so going into this fight. I will go ahead and say off top, Pat Auger in the Body Lock chat was saying he likes Tavares by decision, which was my pick going in as well. Just because Tavares has never been subbed. Shoeface only wins when he can sub people.
Yep.
Seems pretty straightforward. That was a plus 180 odd line going into this fight. And it was the easiest plus 180 of all time.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was going to happen that way. The only way it was going to go otherwise is if Shoeface melted from cardio problems. Shoeface held up pretty well, to be honest. He did better than I thought he would, but yeah, Brad Tavares, super impressive. The fucking takedown defense, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
it was some of the craziest takedown defense I've ever seen. He like at one point he has his leg above his head. Like, dude is using the cage at a crazy angle and using his leg on the cage to keep himself up for balance.
Like boosted off the cage.
He's he's like sweeping out of a half guard immediately when he hits the ground. It was one of the most impressive takedown defense and get up performances I've ever seen. Probably part of that is an indictment on Shoeface's actual ability to take people down and his ability to stand top people, but some of those were super deep double legs that he was able to somehow survive. Like, man, and some of those clinch exchange, like the clinch wrestling takedowns against the cage, were super, super ridiculous that he survived as well. So, Yeah, man. Brad Tavares showing why he has been around this long and still showing out on dudes. Because that shit was so impressive.
It was, and good win by Brad Tavares. You'll help me with this next one because I noticed there was some COVID stipulations. Someone broke proto.
Oh my god! So yeah, so the
Otman, I don't know what his last name is. He was the original opponent for Matt Frivola, I believe. If I'm correct on
Otman
that.
Azatar.
And who was the original opponent for Arman Sarkisian?
Saryukin was Nasrat Hakparas. Nasrat Hakparas didn't even show up to the scales.
Yep, because his weight cut went so poorly, right?
Yep. And then Otman Azatar, by the way, we should note, younger brother of the Bash brothers, if you guys remember that Kareem Sedan article of the brothers who were horrible, horrible people. One of them got assault charges for beating their girlfriend and bursting their eardrum at a Christmas parade, I believe, or a Christmas event. Like, fucking horrible people. He's the younger brother of them. He broke. Have you heard this story?
I saw it mentioned in text format. I don't know.
Yeah, he broke.
All I saw was beat girlfriend, and I was like, that's terrible.
Oh, well, so no, it wasn't this guy. It was his older brothers, and he was a young kid at the time.
I'm going by affiliation.
Yeah. But so what happened, though, was Otman evidently cut him and his team cut their wristbands off.
Yep.
Gave their wristband to another person outside of the bubble. Yep. That person taped the wristband back together, took a duffel bag up to the room, and then scaled 4 balconies and then tried to get away.
Oh, that's right. Fuck, I was listening to someone and they... God damn it, who was it? Fuck, I just listened to this podcast too. They, Oh, it was MMA on the Rocks. I just listened to that today.
No, Bill Welker.
He was like...
You know what? We'll add that as one of our honorable mentions.
So he essentially, Bill Welker's like, yeah, so in my head, when I'm reading and hearing about this... It's like, he didn't say the movie, but I know he's seen Cradle to the Grave with Deadly DMX.
Yeah, I know he has, yeah.
This?
Yep.
He's like,
dude,
it's like just scaling, just gripping really tight on the walls and going, here's the next floor. Okay,
that's
here's
funny.
And he's like saying, what was in the duffel bag? IVs or some sort of like,
no, 100%. It's always drugs or cash. It's always drugs or cash. Yeah. That's how. If there's a duffel bag, it's drugs or cash.
And where was
always
Ali?
Is. Oh, where's Ali? Oh, he can't leave the U.S.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. He the last time he went to Abu Dhabi, according to Mike Russell, when he landed in New York, the FBI, the CIA, and a couple other government agencies all showed up and put him under detainment and asked him a bunch of questions about why he thought he could leave the country after being an FBI informant who's been told they can't leave the country.
However, are we sure there wasn't a Robert Brighton there? All right, I told you. Never mind.
Yeah, to be fair. Hey, to be fair, I wish, Bilal Muhammad will never hear this since he's blocked us for saying the things that Ali has obviously always done. But cheers, Bilal Muhammad.
He won't remember for someone who wants us to remember, so it's all good.
I mean, to be fair, I've been a fan of Bilal Muhammad since Titan FC. It sucks, and he's very funny. He's a great guy. Yeah, and it really bums me out that we got blocked just for saying, "Hey, maybe don't have." People
when we say it's nothing personal, we're being honest.
I honestly still don't hold it against him. Like it's probably Ali that blocked us, not him. So like I'm not mad at him about it at all. We'll still cover his show too, just not when Ali is on it, because fuck people who make money off of people who kill gay people. I don't know, maybe crazy take. The U.S. government agrees with me, which is shocking. But this is the first time ever. Anyway, Matt Frivola. So here's the thing. Going into this fight against Arman Saryukin, he was a plus 500 underdog, which is too wide. Now he lost, and he was probably going to lose. Actually, honestly, I thought the best way for him to win this fight is if Arman Saryukin tries to grapple him, and he had a ton of moments of success. He won a lot of the scrambles early. He just couldn't keep the pace. And then once Arman was able to do that and then start landing significant strikes at range, started to get to be a lot very quickly. But I was really impressed, though, with Matt Frevola as a whole. And I do think that plus 500 line, like, while accurate, is... I think a lot of that is hype for a dude who came in with a very strong record and a dude who came in Matt Frevola, who, like, while he's looked good, he's had a lot of decisions and he's had a lot of, like, scrappy fights. So, I don't know. What'd you think?
It was a scrappy fight. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty back and forth.
For a plus 500 underdog, Frevola was super competitive.
Yeah, he outperformed.
Like, he was never going to win, but he hung in there every step of the way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the Sarukian decision.
Yeah.
It was closer
clearly.
than they made it out to be.
Yeah.
At least in some instances.
Well, yeah, and he definitely won all 3 rounds, but it was definitely competitive in moments. And also, I guess we should mention, since you shouted out Bill Welker, we should shout out, I think it's Gracie Tampa, where both Bill Welker and Frevola train, if I remember right.
Yeah, because I remember he mentioned he's in Florida. I couldn't remember if it was Tampa in general.
Yeah, it's Gracie Tampa South.
And shouts out to the city of Tampa. They've had a hell of a 2020 when it comes to professional sports. For all you sports nuts out there that non-fighting, you had the
all
Tampa
3 of you that listen to this show,
right? Because in Tampa you're doing better things, but in Tampa you had your hockey team, the Lightning. They won a Stanley Cup. Then you had the Rays, unfortunately lose the World Series to the shitty ass Dodgers.
Wait, Florida won a Stanley Cup?
Yep.
What?
Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup in 2020.
That seems weird since they've never seen ice in their entire fucking lives in real life.
And what's more ironic is that's their second title. They also won in
Really?
2004. Yeah, good for them.
I guess I don't follow hockey that deeply.
Yeah.
Or I haven't in a long
Also,
time.
unironically as well, another expansion team, the Tampa Bay not Devil Rays, which I wish they kept that name because they're a bunch of pussies. They lost to the stupid Dodgers in the World Series. Whatever. I try to ignore that as a salty pod. Well, I'm not really a salty Padres fan because you've seen what the Padres have done this year. We're actually considered the second best team of all baseball.
We definitely won't fuck that up.
Well, this is the thing. The only team in our way is the Doyers, so it's either you beat them or you don't. So good luck.
The good news is the Doyers, both of our cities have COVID vaccine things happening at both of those stadiums, and I think LA is beating us in that one as well. Considering I've heard a lot of stories about how they are fucking up the one here in San Diego.
It's
I mean, to be fair, girlfriend Karen has gotten the first of the 2 vaccine shots at Petco, so I'll update you guys.
And then lastly, I mentioned Tampa because guess who just made the Super Bowl? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, thanks to Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback ever. So good for him. Everywhere that dude goes, he's a winner. So good for him. They won their game today against the Packers. So if you're a Tampa resident,
the Packers did bad footballs.
They did bad footballs. A lot of questionable bad footballs.
I heard they likes to kicks when you're supposed to runs.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers, hey, run towards the goal line and maybe you can... Never mind.
I know footballs.
Yeah. Either way,
the Chargers cured me of that a long time ago, bro.
Oh no! Once they left, I'm like, fuck football.
I mean, to be fair, they cured me that long before that with their bullshit ass. Every San Diego sports team with their bullshit ass runs.
Like I told you, it was nice that I don't have a team anymore because when I play fantasy football and I ended up winning this year, I'm never stressed because I don't have a team to cheer for. It's amazing. So I just cheer for my favorite players. It's great.
Yeah. It's like sadness hedging, but for all of sports.
It actually makes it way easier to play.
Yeah, it makes it so you just accurately pick things instead of actually caring and investing.
Oh no, I can't play him. They're playing the Chargers.
Well, to be fair, speaking of a card, Chris, this is a great segue actually. Now that we mention it, speaking of a card where it was hard not to care about some of these main event fights and pick a side just off of pure emotion and not actual logic. Some cool stuff happened, man. This is maybe one of the best pay-per-view cards, fight for fight we've seen in a while. As long as you forget that you had to sit through Andrew Sanchez versus Muradov.
So Oh, that's right. So wait. So I'm seeing the fights listed on here. That was before the Hebos fight, right?
No, it was after.
It was after.
Yeah, I was just saying that one dragged a bit, and it was really, really. Well, let's say what it is. The only reason that shit was on the main card is because Muradov is a money
He's
team.
a smart man.
No, he's a money team fighter, which is why he's
that's
on
what I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah.
He is a very smart man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, if you're at that point in your career where, and I'm assuming he's not ranked at 185. I don't think he is. If you're with Floyd Mayweather, that means you like making money, and good for you.
Yeah, but people forget Kevin Lee was with the money team back in the day and didn't do fucking shit for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's smart. It's smart in this way, and it's smart in the exact same way, Chris. I'm gonna segue this fucking beautifully. It's smart in the exact same way that for some reason in Amanda Ribas versus Marina Rodriguez, who's from Brazil, walked out to shipping out to Boston on a Conor McGregor pay-per-view. What is that move, bro?
Oh yeah, of course G6. I'm not gonna say his name. G6 is over at my house.
Oh, was he? Fuck, dude. If I didn't imminently want to not get COVID, I would have been there.
Even G6 said, "Where's Pulver?" You know.
I mean, shit. If I wanted to get COVID from all of the fucking delinquents at your house, I would have been there. But I gotta be responsible because I got fucking vets and shit in the house. But
G6 was there. He enjoyed the fights. I remember he was like this. He was really like, "What is she? Thinks she's Irish?" I remember just started laughing. You know. She starts walking out.
I mean, it's a good question. Why the fuck? She didn't walk out to that. Here, you know what? I'm gonna do a piece of journalism right here live on the show. Chris, while you start talking about this fight, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up her fight before this and listen to her walkout sign.
Definitely the darling of us, especially RMMA. If you talk about,
oh my god, with the squeaky voice, they love her. The only person that might like more than her is Jillian Anderson or Hannah Seifers.
Yes, and then you also get those morons, whether you want to call them incels or just fucking moronic. They're like, bro, she looks
like... You'd probably call them both, to be honest.
She laughed like a witch. Like, first of all, no one should ever say that. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, it was just funny. But I remember, like, the average comment was like, wow, there's, like, brought to you by Simps for Hebos. Shit, like, it was an interesting but also weird thread. You're like...
Great.
I'll just say this. For anyone, obviously, that watched the fight, the average comment I saw is, "Cameraman, what are you doing?" That's what I saw a lot. I'm like, oh, boy.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm trying to, of course,
this fight was competitive. I know Hebos had control in that first round. I think she took down Rodriguez in the first round and kept her there, had control, had good transitions, had some good elbows from side control, and I don't think she ever got full mount. She won that first round, and then she was winning the fight until she wasn't, right when that second round started. What do you think of that stoppage from Herb Dean?
I mean, it was awful for so many reasons.
Can't step in and be like, just kidding, haha, you know.
So the excuse is he didn't technically touch the fighters, which is it's the only excuse you can possibly try and give for that. But he did. If you rewatch it, he definitely touched her.
Like,
yeah, it was because he was so leaned over them and almost fell that he then, while leaning back and as Marina Rodriguez stood up, he did technically touch her slightly, and then. As I believe, so I saw someone on Twitter say, they separate. Amanda Hebos looks at Herb Dean like, "Why'd you hit me? I thought we were friends." And then Marina Rodriguez kills her. So, yeah, it was horrible officiating. Also, made me very scared for the main event when I knew ahead of time Herb Dean was going to be reffing that.
friend of the podcast, Jake, he texted me. He's like, "You realize who's doing the main event, right?"
Yep. Jake is our smartest friend who watches.
No, we need to get him on here.
We really should, because he actually, we've had long discussions about
Jake
stuff.
He knows what he's talking
great.
about. Like,
yeah.
if we had him on here, he'd be on like the same wavelength. I'm telling you. Like,
I mean, apart from the fact that he's a Barstool fan, but that could be excused at times.
Yeah, that's.
To be fair, you like some Barstool stuff. So.
I'll say this: I know him, and he
He
extremely.
also makes fun of Robbie's.
Well, I'll say this: he extremely disagrees with the politics of Barstool. He's like, "Fuck those conservative morons."
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of San Diego, who's not a bunch of mouth breathers, we hang out in a very specific type of white dude, and like just people in general. Like, I feel like we don't. I'm not around the. We also don't hang out with a lot of military guys in San Diego, which I feel like is a very different scene. Right?
Like I've said before, I don't like generally dislike Barstool. I don't like Dave Portnoy. I'll say that.
He's a fucking asshole.
But I do like select podcasts like their.
Oh, I know you. I know you're. I know every time you take a pizza, you take a bite of a pizza, you say, "Okay, one bite."
Yeah, no, I'm Italian, so I'm not some fucking Irish Bostonian prick who's just like, yeah, bro, Costco's pretty good too. Like, no, fuck you.
Costco is pretty good though.
I mean,
for what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but my point is, yeah, it's like I selectively like some of their podcasts because there's zero politics and there's zero bro shit. It's just like, I like movies, I like television. Here's what you should be streaming. Fuck you, like
yeah. I've heard okay things about their film pod. If you're looking for a good film podcast, though, the best one is the Film Vault. It's the best. Anderson Cowan, Paul Bryan, they've been doing it for over a decade, and it's so good. Dan Tom actually is also a huge fan of the Film Vault podcast. That's actually where me and him kind of connected about a lot of the film stuff that you hear us talk about. Irreversible. I don't know if he knew about it ahead of time.
So
he might have.
I will watch Irreversible this weekend, but I'm also going to watch a film that's getting Oscar buzz. And if you're a music person, it's called The Sound of Metal, starring Riz
I feel like
Ahmed.
we have to review that also for our show, considering we're literally called The Sound of Violence, Chris. So we're going to add that to our review.
Without spoiling it, it's about a guy who's essentially in a metal. It's more like grunge, but he's like a drummer in a metal band, and he starts losing his hearing. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I might have heard about this.
It's on Amazon Prime.
I might have heard about this. We are definitely.
Video,
yeah,
it's available.
You know what? We will definitely review that as well. Then, as part of that, is like
nothing but fantastic things about the movie.
Well, you know what, Chris? We need a feel good thing at the end, and and that feels like a good wrap up feel good part to our weird review things. That way, we're not shitting on everything. We can say something positive about something at the end.
And you and I have also got to get back on PlayStation, play some Fall Guys, because they have that fucking goofy ass game.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that when we were playing that for a second?
Oh yeah, it's been I need to renew my fucking PlayStation Plus. I'll tell you what, I'm not renewing.
Your Xbox.
Yeah, you already know. I was gonna let you say it.
They're like, just kidding.
Yeah, I bet they're saying just kidding.
Oh no, they're like, not only are we just kidding, now you no longer need gold to play Fortnite and Apex and free games. And I remember Jake texted me, it was a GIF from Dumb and Dumber. It's like, just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, and you do this and totally redeem yourself. It's like, God damn it. It's like, yeah, it's just like, well, why do you think I want a PS5? But you can't get one because it's like Turbo Man.
Also, don't buy consoles until a year after they've been out. That's just pro tip on all of video games.
Also, speaking of PS5 Pro will probably be a thing in the summer. So
yeah, shocking. I'm so shocked. All right, well, moving on.
Yeah, so Amanda Kibot's got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, Amanda. So we should say Marina Rodriguez looked absolutely incredible in that fight. I thought Amanda Kibos was going to be able to keep her down way more consistently. But once they broke at range, and Marina Rodriguez was just tagging the fuck out of her. And the way she put her out was absolutely nasty. And Herb Dean doing nobody any favors in that. It was very rough. So, big win. And, man, I heard a lot of people saying going into this fight that like, oh, Marina Rodriguez is gonna get smoked. Marina Rodriguez has no chance. I was like, dude, that going into that fight, that was my fight of the night contender, like the sleeper fight of the night, I should say. I think I even said that in the Body Lock chat, but I mean, it was just it had potential to be a banger for sure. Especially if it got real scrappy either on the ground or on the feet, it was going to be a banger, and it absolutely was. But I did not think Marina Rodriguez was just going to put Amanda Ribas out like that. God damn. That was one of the nastiest fucking finishes we've seen, aside from the top two parts of this card, probably. Although Andrew Sanchez did get fucked up pretty bad, I will say.
Yeah, he was on stanky leg.
Dude, it was bad. I so in the chat I was watching, they were saying ahead of time like, "Oh God," and I was like, "What is happening?" They're like, he is not walking." They're like, he's wobbling all, and then you saw it. I thought I saw it earlier, and then like 20 seconds later, you see what happens, and you're like, "Oh wow, that's one of the craziest stank legs I've probably ever seen." It was nasty, man. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to say about that fight other than it was very weird up until the finish, but kind of expected, right? Like, I feel like all Andrew Sanchez fights are kind of go that way.
Yeah. I'll let you talk about this next fight because it's your favorite fighter, clearly.
Oh, God. I don't like to talk about Jessica. I can't do a Phil McKenzie accent. You know, I'll do a Kyle.
I could try.
I'll do a Kyle accent. I'll like to talk about.
Yeah. It feels like I don't like to talk about Jessica I.
I could do the anti.
You know, and then Kyle will be like, Jessica I. You know, here we go, Evo. Here we go, woof woof.
Well, to be fair, evil. I feel like all my impressions are just James the Colossus Thompson. Really is what all my impressions turn into. I just sound slow and mouthy and slightly British. And my ear sounds like it's exploding. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird fight, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they both had their moments. They both looked okay.
It has moments.
That, from what I just remember, it was I trying to just press Calderwood against the fence and then not really doing anything with that and just trying to get like palm to palm, trying to get the double leg, and then just like, and then Calderwood separating, landing some kicks to the body, and then just kind of tagging her from distance, and then I would get an uppercut, and then and I remember there was that one really good shot Calderwood landed on I, and she's like, oh fuck, you know, and
yep,
I couldn't really tell what was going on, but I remember like. At the end of the fight, I was like, I'm pretty sure Calderwood won.
I mean, yeah, it's about my read. It was very much it was more entertaining than I thought it would be. Like, it was way scrappier and way more fun than I expected. Because I thought it was going to be a slog. That being said, I don't know. I still don't, as we played on the intro clip from Phil McKenzie, I still don't know what to make of Jessica I, ever. Or joining Calderwood, for that matter. Like, they both kind of did what I expected, but I don't feel good about either one of them or know what to think of them going forward.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where it puts them in the division, but know where they probably want to be. I don't know. It was a weird fight, but it was always going to be, right? I guess that's kind of the takeaway. We should get to these last two because damn,
this one will be easy. Fortunately, so we had
the body shots.
So first of all,
Michael Chandler did his homework, bro.
First of all, what? Okay, and I know the real answer to this. What's your take on Bruce Buffer going and the former Bellator lightweight champion of the world, Michael Chandler? It's like, well, first
my
of all,
take is they fucked up because they thought Hooker was about to fuck him up.
You know what I think, though? I actually think Dana probably thought, fuck Bellator, but if I mention this, it hypes him up more.
No. So it's one of two things, in my opinion. One.
You can remember John Anik said Bellator 2 in the weigh-ins.
And those are both very specifically designed. You don't get to say other promotions' names. I know DC got yelled at for saying bloody elbow in the middle of the week. I haven't heard that card yet, but I saw enough people tweet about DC saying bloody elbow, and I was like, I know we got to talk to about that shit because fucking Dana hates bloody elbow. But specifically, I really, really think they thought Dan Hooker was going to fuck up Michael Chandler. I really think
make Bellator like that.
Yeah, I think that's why they kept specifically name dropping Bellator because they're like, a dude who is not even in title contention fucks up Michael Chandler in our organization. I think that was really their play, which is
I can see that.
Which is dumb
It's not a bad take.
for a bunch of reasons. If it's not that, then the other move is they're scared of the antitrust suit. And they're starting to name drop other organizations out of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That would be my other take, because by referencing other organizations, you do give them some kind of validation at a global scale. And if you're really scared about how the antitrust suit is proceeding, specifically that Judge Boulware is talking about how. About how he's granting a class cert for not the identity class but the other class. If you want to try and immediately combat that and make immediate arguments against it, saying the name of the other broadcast on air is an immediate thing you can do and try and make that argument. So those are the two things I immediately thought of. I think it's the former because I think Dana's petty, and I think Dana was trying to dunk on Bellator because Dan Hooker is a Izzy gym member, and I think he just thought Michael
kickboxing.
I think Dana really doesn't understand how good Bellator fighters are. I think that's genuinely a thing. I think let's put it this way. When has Dana ever put one of his fighters against another fighter and it went well?
Are you talking about when UFC goes over to Bellator? Because it never goes well.
Well, I mean, specifically when Dana is a part of it, there's been 2 times that I would say that are most prominent, and this is one of them. Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker. Like, Will Brooks is kind of like nebulous, I would say, at the time because of when he transferred over and how he came to the UFC. Eddie Alvarez is another one who Eddie Alvarez did fucking great. And the other one, outside of that, Chuck Liddell and Rampage Jackson in Pride. And how'd that go for Dana? Not good. Did not go well. He bet against Pride and got fucked up. Hey, Kyle McLaughlin dropping in chat. I hope you heard our super, super informed and not at all fuckboy impressions of British accents earlier. Man, yeah, 100%. Also, I can't imagine listening to this in the morning. That must be brutal. Just because of the nature of our show. But, yeah, man, I really think this is just a petty, petty move by Dana White that backfired on him super hard. And I love when it happens.
I did watch.
Also, Chris, will you now start watching some more Bellator fighters?
And like I said before,
this is my question because I know actually Kyle. I know is also a bit of a Bellator detractor.
I'm selective when it comes to Bellator.
You should be. You totally should.
I'm extremely selective.
I am too.
I'll watch the big. Yeah. Like I remember, like anytime it was McDonald and Lima and Michael Venom Page and like Paul Daly. Yeah, I'll watch all those. It's some of the other ones. It's just like fuck, dude. You're gonna have to convince me. So I'll admit that, but yeah, no, I want to pay more attention to Bellator. I'll say this right now. If there's any Bellator fighter on that roster in Bellator, I think. Honestly, it would be near top 5, already fringe top 5 for featherweight.
You know it's Pitbull. Pitbull's...
No, well, him, but I was going to say AJ McKee. That dude's a motherfucker.
Pitbull and McKee are top Or top 15 fighters in the
And
world.
then Aaron
probably.
Pico still has the potential.
Well, Pitbull for sure.
Yeah,
McKee
Pitbull for
is
sure.
like.
He's almost there.
I don't know
And
where
then-
McKee's at. Yeah.
And then
He's up there.
I just think Aaron Pico has potential. He just gotta still get more fights.
Aaron Pico has potential, but also he's had terrible matchmaking and taken a lot of damage.
And then there's like Juan Archuleta, but I don't know what to think of him because he's with TJ Dillashaw. He's a fucking cheater, so maybe he's a cheater too. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What I will say though is the win by Chandler is so impressive, man.
It is.
The way he would consistently work the body to set up.
Dude,
The,
he's like I told my buddy Kevin, it's like, who is he like? I said he's like Tyron Woodley. He's a short, stocky dude.
No.
He's
I
very
mean, build wise, but not at all
Build-
game plan wise.
gameplay, but I was saying that because he's very explosive, has a good overhand. Even though he did get Hooker with a left hook looping in from a feint. Maybe I'm saying that because they were college teammates.
I think that's a lot of it, and in like build wise and like just like kind of impact in the cage strength wise, I feel like they're very comparable, like or comparable. Yeah, like they're 100% very physical in there, but Chandler, the thing that impressed me the most is his like it's 100% he did his homework to work the body against Hooker and then work to the head off of that. Like it's
dude, that front kick was fucking nasty.
everyone. Yeah, like if you guys have listened to any of the fight site stuff, everyone has been screaming for everyone to attack the body on Dan Hooker, and not only did Michael Chandler did it, he did it in combos and then finished with shot like giant hooks to the head, which like early and hard. Which
since we'll get to
that
the
and
main
the pressure, throwing teep kicks, pushing up against the cage, it was super impressive. By Michael
if you're
Chandler.
matchmaker, what do you have Michael Chandler doing next? Because I have him fighting Gaethje.
That's the most fun fight of all time. Like, yeah, that's the fight out.
Just because of the violence.
Yeah, 100%
I'm
'cause of the
also
violence.
honestly not against, even though I think Oliveira truly does deserve to fight Poirier next. I wouldn't be against Chandler versus Poirier for the title.
Here's why they don't do it.
I'm not going to do that.
Here's why they don't do it. Is because regardless of who wins between Chandler and Gaethje, they're both technically not UFC fighters. They're WSOF or Bellator fighters. But if they fight each other in the UFC, then they can just say UFC fighters who have been in the league for a while, who fought a lot of other UFC fighters. It makes it so much more easier.
Dana wants that narrative.
Yeah, it makes the narrative so much easier, and it's an easy banger. Like that shit is impossible to not be a banger. I think getting Michael Chandler to take that fight might be kind of tough. That's I think your big roadblock. I think Justin Gaethje will take that fight all fucking day because he knows Michael Chandler doesn't have the cardio. That being said, Chandler hits hard, but I favor Gaethje hard in that for sure. Just off of leg kicks and cardio alone, not to mention just ability to chew through damage and still come back. Like I don't know, but super impressive win by Chandler. Like absolutely set up Dan Hooker perfectly, worked the body. He ate some shots for sure, but he immediately put Dan Hooker on the back foot, and Dan Hooker never came back from it. So super impressive. Like I am very impressed. And I think we talked about it earlier. It was I want to say it was the fight side, right? It was one of those prediction shows that said here, I can tell you right now. If I can spell circular, I can tell you right now. Here, let me try this. Yeah, it was the fight site staff predictions for UFC 257. Conor wants to come. As Dan Tom did. That joke gets better every time. Yeah, Bellator's circular cage has enabled Mike Chandler to have such an effective pressuring game that works so much even more effectively in the UFC since there's less places for people to go, and I think that that might prove true more and more over time. It's something to keep an eye on because we haven't seen a ton of dudes coming from Bellator who had a really strong like pressure game or like forced exchanges a lot. You know, like Eddie forces exchanges, but Eddie forces exchanges at distance. And like while he does pressure, he's not inherently a pressure fighter. You know.
Yeah.
So, interesting thing to keep an eye on, but. Let's see. And then we are to the main event, I think, right?
Yep. Dustin the Diamond Poirier defeated the notorious Conor McGregor by KO, not TKO, because I watched it again. He knocked him the fuck out. Once he stunned Conor with that right straight, and he fell to the ground, he knocked him out clean.
As The Walking Dead,
he was out.
As The Walking Dead account tweeted on Twitter, sleeping until the next Walking Dead season is out. I believe that's what they said with a picture of him looking like he was asleep. Fucking first off, The Walking Dead's a trash show. So really, let's go ahead and dunk on them before we dunk on anybody. But
I quit after season 5.
It was the barn. I stopped after the barn season.
Oh, that was season 2, which was like the last.
It was season 2 to 3. I was like, go fuck yourself, dude. You're just wasting everybody's time.
Once they got rid of Shane, John Bergthaler, like, oh, this show's bad.
Yeah. Not enough Michael Rooker, too much everybody else.
Oh, what they did to Michael Rooker's character, they destroyed that, too. That was bad.
And also, they made I know Michael Rooker's character was racist originally, but, like, it didn't get better. Doesn't make me feel good about it. Maybe, speaking of which, bad segue. Speaking of not which, still not a great segue. Dustin Poirier fought Conor McGregor.
And speaking of, I'll say this.
Wait. I got a great segue for you. I'll Luke Thomas this segue. Speaking of hot sauces, I don't know why I did that again.
Yeah, did you say it's like super garlicky?
It's very garlicky. It's great though. It should be because it's a Louisiana hot sauce, so like Crystal's is very garlicky. If you ever had Crystal's, like it's a lot of Luke Thomas actually did a very good video on it. It's like a lot of celery, garlic, and what's the other ingredient in the Trinity? I always do this. It's celery, garlic, and onion.
Onion? I was gonna say mushrooms or onion.
No, it's celery, garlic, and onion. I believe is the 3. Yeah, it's really good, but not hot. So anyway. It was a dumb segue.
I'll say this. I was really impressed with Poirier's ability to take those shots from Conor, because I know you and I discussed, it really comes down to, this is what everyone said. Can Conor put him away in the first 2 rounds, or can Poirier turn it around and get him against the fence?
Yep.
Kind of like pressure fighter should. And
I think you and me off air.
And I'll say this. When I was watching it, when Conor was tagging him hard, with like hard shots, I was like, I literally said this. I was like, oh no. I honestly thought Conor was gonna knock him out at the end of the first round.
Couple of those lefts he landed in the first minute or 2 looked real bad.
Yeah,
and
like,
also one of the ones he landed.
I was like this. Oh no! Like I was like, here it comes. Yeah, here comes a knockout.
And Dustin in the post-fight press conference was saying the same thing. He's like, he got fucked up a couple times.
Even those shoulder strikes too. Like it fucking smashes. Like that's not part of what
one
it was.
of them landed. After that, he immediately did the thing that all smart people would do, which is move their head to the side that is not hitting them.
Yeah.
Which is also like an imminent, like that's the most Donald Cerrone problem, is to get stuck in the clinch and not move your head to the side that benefits you, and just hang out there with your chin in the air. Someone also made the point
too. How much better is Poirier than Cowboy? I'm like, well, no shit.
Yeah, but like also, Poirier is so different for like so many reasons, but yeah, Cowboy was, especially with the shoulder strike, like Cowboy might be the most susceptible person of all time to shoulder strikes. When you think about like how his clinch game against the cage works,
historically he's not a clinch.
He's very tall and he just stands there and just like he doesn't pummel great. He'll kind of just frame and try and slip to the side, but.
I'll say this too. I don't like Twitter keyboard warriors, and of course this fighter had to throw his name in there because he just never wants to fight anymore. Nate Diaz keeps keeps talking his talk. Sure, you can challenge Poirier if you want. Says right now, I think Poirier absolutely fucks him up, and it probably goes similar to that Masvidal fight. I don't really have much faith in Nate Diaz anymore. He does match up pretty well stylistically against some fighters still, but I don't want to see that fight. I really don't. I don't care. I like Nate, but he kind of... Ever since that beatdown from Masvidal, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking at this point. I don't know what he's trying to do with his home, not just his brand, but just his place in the promotion.
I don't think he's interested in any of that. I think he's doing what he should be doing.
It's always talk.
I think he's doing what he should be doing, which is throwing out options and seeing who will pay him, and if they don't pay him, fuck him.
Yeah, I get it.
Like that's what he should be. By the way, he shouldn't even be forced to fight at this point in his career. He should be paid so much more money than he's worth.
Yeah, but the thing I think that's just frustrating is he'll just say some shit and then fuck off. It's like I get it,
Well, it's because that's how you
get a payday. That's
fine.
fine.
That's how you get a payday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what other option does he have?
I'm actually surprised he's never even able to get a fight with Khabib. Like, basically, yeah, I'll get ragdolled for a lot of money.
Yeah. We should say, though, a couple things about this fight, though, technically. Dustin Poirier wrestled, like, double-leg Conor fucking almost out of the gate.
That takedown was clean, and you could tell Conor did
not happy. Yeah. He tried to immediately go for the to lock the legs, and you could tell Conor scared of that since the Khabib fight.
Well, for that, now that you say that, when I was watching that, I'm like, lock the legs, Khabib style, like yelling at everyone. Like, who's this fucking nerd?
Yeah. But you could tell Conor scouted that. He did a real good job posting, getting up against Cage immediately. He did all right. He got stuck. He definitely kept losing over under in battles against, in the clinch against Cage. And then the shoulder strike stuff was like, I mean, it's whatever.
I mean, it got his attention. Sure,
but like,
bring it back.
Also, like, the only way you get fucked up by that is to not know it's coming, and it's a Gallagher joke. That shit works once. You can smash the watermelon one time in front of me and make it entertaining. After that, bro, that shit is dead. So, and a lot like...
here it is, another watermelon.
Yeah, and much like a lot of Conor's game outside of a pull left hand, that shit was dead after the first attempt. And Dustin Poirier clearly scattered it and was ready for it. From there, man, I mean, honestly, I just think Conor gassed so hard from clinch exchanges. Like, you can't... He is notoriously... I've been saying since the fucking... Before the Aldo fight, he has no gas tank. And I feel like that's always been proven true.
His gas tank was okay. It was
Max
maybe Diaz
1.
Diaz 2?
Diaz 2, he ran away. He literally turned his back and ran.
As far as like lasting and then unloading his gas tank at the end.
Yeah.
In comparison.
But like, turning your back and running to preserve your gas tank is not a good gas tank.
To be fair, in Max 1, it was mostly a grappling exchange because both fighters were hurt.
Well, to be fair, though, Conor was able to exchange in grappling exchanges in Max 1, which he clearly can no longer do.
Well, and I was going to say at that point, Max didn't have the takedown defense that he has at this point now, which is incredible.
Totally different fighter, yeah.
Like, the only person I'd have confidence that would make Max like him is obviously Khabib, but we're not going to see that, so.
Yeah. Yeah, man, but it's super impressive performance. Also, something we've been talking about all week long. I know the Fight Site guy's been bringing it up all week long. Sean Sheehan brought it up in his conversations with Dana Hardy. I know Heavy Hand's been talking about it. Southpaw versus Southpaw lead hand matchup. Yep. Like, that shit was inevitable to play out that way. If you watch that entire sequence that finished it, I mean, he finishes it with that lead hand. And a lot of it gets set up behind the lead hand. A lot of it is Conor desperately dodging out outside of lead hooks and like just slipping in the wrong direction or slipping double hard to try and avoid multiple things. And I feel like without that, Dustin like would not have. Also, some of the slip counters, the slip check hooks he landed too off the lead hand. Like the very first exchange, Conor throws that big left, Dustin slips it, lands the counter hook, and it like kind of sets Conor up. And then actually, that's the same exact shot that set up the finish, now that I think about it. As Conor's coming in, while Dustin's against Cage, Conor misses.
That's that picture
misses
that
the left
ESPN
hand.
got.
Yeah, Conor misses the left hand. Dustin hits a slip counter, and then circles and throws a volume at him like Dustin Poirier likes to do. So super impressive performance, man.
This all
Super
being
impressive.
said, great performance by Poirier, great win. If you're a matchmaker, what's the title fight? Because clearly Khabib's not coming back. So what do you do with Poirier?
I think it's Oliveira, man.
Gotta be, right?
Hey, Dustin Poirier likes guillotines. Charles Oliveira likes guillotines. We gonna have a guillotine off, y'all.
If it's not him versus Oliveira, which it should be, I think you do Dustin Max 3 for fun.
Nah, because Max, like,
he still doesn't have the power, and he almost got fucking knocked out too.
well, and like, yeah, I don't think it benefits anybody at this point. I think it only hurts people, and honestly, it's not needed. Like, Max should have a 145 fight. Dustin should have a 155 fight.
Yeah.
It should just be that way.
So how about this?
It can't be Chandler. I'm kind of with Dustin Poirier that Chandler needs another fight.
Who do you have Conor fight next? Because there's a lot of fun options. I know the most common answer is Nate.
Probably gonna fight Courts.
Well, outside the octagon,
Lawsuits?
that dude's got a whole other thing he has to worry about. My point is, we're talking fight talk here.
Oh, okay.
I'm
gonna say he's not gonna fight. How about that?
I mean, that's not a bad prediction.
No,
That's
he's
probably
not.
accurate.
He's not.
But my point,
he's not gonna
semantics, talking theoretically, I don't want to see him fight Nate Diaz because I don't give a shit about that.
That's the only one they're gonna do.
They'll do it, yeah. But I'm saying if it's not Nate Diaz, I say you do Conor versus Tony.
I've heard a lot of that talk.
I'd say Conor or Tony. Part of me thinks Conor Chandler would be cool too, but Conor doesn't give a fuck about Michael Chandler.
Conor won't fight Michael Chandler.
No, I don't even think he'll fight Justin Gaethje. Well, I don't know. He might make it personal because Gaethje said some misty shit.
Not at this point. He doesn't deserve to fight Justin Gaethje right now.
I think he'll do Conor or Tony, and I'm down.
I want Gaethje Chandler so bad. Conor Tony, I don't hate Conor Tony. It definitely helps one of them and doesn't really hurt either one who loses. So yeah, maybe. That's not the worst.
Conor Tony. And
I don't think they'll do it though.
And I really think they do. Michael Chandler does fight Gaethje. I think Gaethje takes that fight 100%.
You know what? Yeah. You know what?
And then I
think both of those are actually.
That's my prediction. And I think Poirier fights Oliveira.
I think all those are actually, now I think about it, pretty likely to happen. Outside of like people fucking themselves out of money, or the UFC trying to fuck people out of money, more specifically. Yeah, man.
And so, what's Khabib's plan? Clearly, he's gonna be.
He's retired. He's retired.
Oh no! I know that. I know this. I'm not saying he's fighting. That's what I was getting to. Is he's clearly retired? Is he doing his Eagles MMA thing? What's his involvement in the UFC? Is he an ambassador of sorts?
He's trying not to get sanctioned by the U.S. government for being involved with Kadyrov. Probably is my number one goal if I'm Khabib. My number two goal is to try and not let my agent also be a part of getting sanctioned by the U.S. government for involvement with Kadyrov, because both of those are very legitimate concerns. Number three, I have heard conversations that Kareem Zidane has even had about Khabib potentially having a future in politics. It's a very viable thing in Russia. I mean, you can.
So he's going to Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, well, and Russia has a history of like especially athletes, especially combat sports athletes. Like Fedor famously has had seats in certain parts of Russian government, and Khabib could definitely go that route, and has been courted for such, from what I've heard. So I would guess he'd probably go that way, and then do appearances, UFC cards, especially in Abu Dhabi for paychecks for Dana.
Yep.
So they can
By the way,
around.
Speaking of boxing news, did you see the new Manny Pacquiao news?
What gay person did he slander now?
So, fortunately, has nothing to do with that.
Great. I just assume.
Oh no, not a bad assumption. Ryan Garcia and him are apparently supposed to fight. They're in discussions,
That'd be cool.
which is a crazy step up for a Garcia, who is a 135er, and Manny Pacquiao fights at 147. But
and a crazy step up for Manny Pacquiao from Conor McGregor, the opponent they were pretending like he was gonna have.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you know. The point is, it's one of those instances where it was like when Canelo fought Mayweather, when Canelo was like still basically a kid, right? Or it's a win-win no matter what. And good for Ryan Garcia securing that bag. So good for you, kid.
Yeah, to be fair, it'll be fun. I don't know enough about boxing, how competitive it is, but I think it'll be fun.
I'll say this: Garcia probably has a slight speed advantage, even though Pacquiao's always been one of the greatest speed punchers, or just fast punchers, as far as like down.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, he's old as fuck now. He's like 43.
I mean, he's still very quick, but yeah, he's
still very good. But this kid Ryan Garcia like just turned 22, and he knocked out a big gold medalist Luke Campbell with a shot to the liver, and he has lightning hands.
Oh, Brian, how's Brian taking it?
What is he, Brian?
Yeah.
You mean Luke? Sorry, I'm not getting your joke.
No, Brian Campbell. How's he taking the loss of his cousin or whatever?
I'm trying to remember. Dude, my brain's not working. Brian Campbell.
I'm making a sweet Morning Combat joke right now.
I know. Sorry. I know I recognize that. Who the fuck is that again?
So dumb.
Damn it.
To be fair, selling me on who Brian Campbell is way funnier. So.
Because it's funny because
Let me guess, you're a fan of Asian MMA.
But my brain is like, wait, Brian Campbell, who's that again?
You're not wrong to ask that.
Like, God damn it.
Very funny. All right, well, you know what? That's a great moment to wrap it on, Chris. But this has been a lot of fun. We will have we have so much content for you guys coming out. Chris and I'm going to tell you right now, the Skype call time of the recording that Chris and I did. This is including some breaks and stuff, but the Skype call time of the recording we did for part 1 and 2 of our award show is 5.5 hours, and we still haven't even gotten to our top 10 yet, which we're planning on recording probably. Our plan is late this week, and we'll have it out this weekend, or this upcoming weekend. So we have a lot of content coming your way on an off week. We're also going to do a video on our YouTube channel, The Sound of Violence Podcast, I think is the name of it. If you guys go check it out and subscribe to it, we will have a video there where we talk about 3 of the best movies and or the worst movies. 3 movies that are going to get all up in our feelings. Let me put it that way. One of which is a comedy special from Adam Hunter, the movie Irreversible. And what's the other thing we're watching, Chris?
So I'm watching Irreversible, you're watching Adam Hunter, and then I said good movie time, right? Like an action movie.
What was the good one?
It's called The Sound of Metal.
Oh, right, The Sound of Metal. Right. So we will be reviewing all 3 of those on our specific YouTube video to try and drive some traffic there for no fucking reason. I don't know. We don't do ads because I hate ads. So, I don't know. We're doing it, I guess, just to do stuff on YouTube to drive traffic to Google because everybody loves capitalism.
Hey,
Am I right, Chris?
Hey, Chris, what's good is if we do Sound of Metal that has a bunch of Oscar buzz, so whenever someone types in Sound of Metal, we might pop up, which is probably still not true.
I doubt we will, considering we're also going to have the phrase irreversible in that title and a comedy special from an anime comedy.
If you're smart, just call it Sound of Metal Review, and that's it. And then everyone watches it, and you're like, surprise, here's the other movies you're doing.
Yeah, surprise, we're talking about horrible, horrible things outside of this one.
So, movie. I think that's our plan.
You know what? Maybe that will be our plan.
I'm saying right now.
Maybe we're going to
That's a very good idea.
Yeah. No, we're going to parachute. We're going to parachute this video into people's veins, Chris. All right. On that note. I feel like we're at a good place to wrap it. You guys can
and we're also going to do Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Oh, yeah, we are talking about that. We might.
And next month, that's in March. The end of March is when that's happening.
We will, you know what, we will definitely make that happen. Why not? We'll try and get G6 in on that. Maybe Trevor, too.
Oh,
no. G6 is 1,000%.
Yeah, no, 100%. We have to get G6 on that one. Even if we have to do it remote, we'll make that happen.
Right now, he'll be like this. He'll be like, I thought King Kong would be bigger. Or some dumb shit.
That does sound like something G6 would say. Yeah, 100%.
And then he'll just be burping into the mic.
Burping and sniffing a lot, probably. Yeah, something like that. On that note, you guys can find us TSOV Pod on Twitter. You can always shoot us an email at sovpod@gmail.com. I try and read those. I swear to God I do. I'm sorry if I'm bad at getting back to people. I will admit I'm bad at getting back to people. So please don't hesitate to chase me down about stuff if I am lazy and I forget about things, because I am lazy and I forget about things. And yeah, go maybe check out the game Fuser. It's pretty cool. And if you guys want to prep for next week in the off time, I guess watch Irreversible, but like fucking hashtag content warning like a motherfucker. So
Not safe for life.
yeah, no, not safe for the weak-willed or people who like having a positive outlook on the world. So we will be back with that. In the meantime, we love y'all. I love doing this, and it is one of the most fun things we do every week. So we'll be back with all that content here coming up. And Chris, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
That's it.
All right. Well, until next time, everybody. Fuck racists. We out. Later.
Liked by the sound of violence.